What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 4TW Chapter 91. The Scent of Love, Makino, don't be fooled by him, he is not blind, he is lying to you. Garp's voice was full of disbelief, and this disbelief was the disbelief of Riester's current behavior. Makino? Is this the proprietress of this tavern? Riester remembers that the proprietress of this tavern is called Makino. In the original book, she is a very beautiful, kind and gentle woman, but according to the current time period, Makino's age should not be very old, only 15 or 16. Around the age of. However, seeing Garp trying to tear himself apart, Riester deliberately used too much force while taking the milk, and directly knocked the milk over. Seeing this scene, Makino went back to the counter in an instant, took out a hand towel, and wiped it on Riester's body. Mr. Blind, you are not scalded, are you? Feeling Makino's little hand walking on his body, Rist felt that he was about to soar. He didn't know why he was like this, why he was so restless in his heart. You must know his resistance and willpower before, they're very firm. I'm fine, but Miss Makino, I don't like people calling me blind. My name is Rist. Rist grabbed Makino's little hand, put his face in front of her, and said seriously. Although Makino can't see the other person's eyes, if he wants to come to the other person, he must be very serious in his eyes. Okay, Mr. Riester. I don't know why, Makino himself is a little bit shy. Garp, who saw this scene, couldn't even close his mouth in surprise. He found that he still underestimated this kid. This acting skill was enough to rank in the top 5 among the people he knew. Hearing Makino's gentle voice, Riester really felt his heart trembling. Subsequently, a follower appeared beside Makino, or an ongoing guest appeared in this tavern. No matter which direction Makino was in, Riester's face could fall on her the whole time. As for what Luffy said about his blind man, Rist had completely forgotten. He has no time to care about this kind of thing with Luffy now. Anyway, there will be more time to teach Luffy in the future, not less than this time and a half. Makino, are you hungry? Rist tried to make his voice softer. Thank you Mr. Riester, I'm not hungry. Advertisement. Makino replied with a smile to Riester's question. Makino, are you tired? Let me wipe the sweat from your forehead. I don't know where Riester took out a white silk scarf. Without Makino's consent, he gently wiped the sweat from her forehead. And Makino was also directly flushed by Riester's behavior, like a red apple, and it was the first time someone was so gentle to her and did this to her. Fortunately, Riester is wearing a blindfold now, otherwise, seeing Makino's shy appearance, Riester would not be able to control himself well. Thank you Mr. Riester. I hope you can remove the word, Mr., and just call me Riester. Okay, Mr. Riester, no, Riester. Then it doesn't matter if I call you Makino. Sure. There was a big smile on Makino's face, but it was a pity that Riester couldn't see it. The others in the tavern have a sour feeling. Their eyes are full of anger. Makino grew up with them. It can be said that they grew up under their noses, the villagers. They all regard Makino as their sister, daughter or daughter-in-law. But now the Chinese cabbage in their eyes seems to be overshadowed by a pig. At this point, Rist had been in Windmill Village for 10 days. He had seen Luffy from the first day, but he has never seen him since, and he didn't know that Garp took him there for the devil training. And Rist's daily routine is to stay in the tavern during the day, and from time to time to help Makino busy, and at night to rest on the warship, but when resting, he will face the direction of the Makino tavern. It seems that there has become a place where his heart is pinned. Sir, if you like it, be bold. Ms. Makino is so popular, if you don't act anymore, you might be listed first. In the evening, Bruce came to Riester's side and opened his way. Bruce is already in his 30s, and he is a family member, so in terms of feelings, Riester can't keep up with flattering. No, what if it scares her, and Makino's age is still so young? No, according to my inquiries in the village these past 2 days, that Makino is already 18 years old, but looks rather tender, but is actually 1 year older than you, sir. Advertisement, real. Rist is very happy, and the reason for the happiness is that Makino is 1 year older than him. Really, it's true, trust me, sir, and believe in my judgment as a naval headquarters colonel. Ha ha ha, good. Knowing that Makino is an adult, Riester no longer has any burdens in his heart. But what should I tell him? At the thought of this, Riester fell into melancholy again. What's the matter with this? A straightforward and simple confession. I believe that with your charm, sir, any woman, wouldn't it still be easy to catch? Give me a side. Rist kicked Bruce directly. Forget it, let me think about it myself. And Riester's behavior has become a great conversation pleasure for many Marines after dinner, because Riester has become less like the Riester they know. Early in the morning, Riester became the first guest of the Makino tavern. Before the tavern opened, Riester was already standing at the door of the tavern. Ah, Mr. Riester, that's not right, Riester, you're here so early again. Makino has become accustomed to this situation, and Riester has been like this every day since they met on the first day. It was a big deal if Riester was brave, but he couldn't take that last step. I haven't seen Makino for a long time, so I miss it very much. No way, but it's only been 10 hours apart, but Rist's eyes are inconvenient, and he insists on coming every day. Where, as long as I can stay by Ms. Makino's side, I will come no matter how difficult it is. Hearing these words, Makino's face blushed. Chapter 92. Still the same, a cup of hot milk. As expected, Miss Makino, she really understands me. Riester said with a smile, and now it's okay to say that these useless slurs are okay, but when it comes to business, Riester has to be persuaded. Rist came to me for 10 days in a row, every morning a cup of hot milk, can't I still know? Hee. Lister smiled embarrassedly. It's not that he can't drink, but he just doesn't want to make a bad impression in front of Makino. Not long after, guests were already in the tavern. Although it was a tavern, most people regarded it as a restaurant. Yeah, Lister, you're here again. The people who often come to the pub in Windmill Village are already very familiar with Lister, so when they meet, they will say hello to Lister. Well, I'm afraid Makino can't be busy alone. Don't worry, we are still too busy. The villager continued to T Rist. No, it's enough to have me by Makino. Riester faced Makino's direction and said deeply. Yo. Hearing these words from Lister, the gang began to booze. And Makino blushed amidst the noise of the crowd. After all, Makino is a girl who is easily shy. Hey, you guys are enough. Be so careful, I will clean up you. Don't forget that first I'm a marine. Riester said with a straight face. Of course, Riester was just joking. Well, if you continue, Chief Riester will abuse his power, isn't it, big guy? Yes. Hearing the sound of these people continuing to make fun of him, Rist was completely helpless, and could only let them continue to make fun of them. Dang. Advertisement at this moment, a sound that seemed to be knocking suddenly came out in the tavern. I saw a small old man who was not tall, with a hat, white hair, and eyes, sitting on a chair, angrily using a cane. Knocking on the floor. Just be quiet for me. Like what, Makino hasn't married yet. This person is the village head of Windmill Village. Ha, it really deserves to be the village chief, he is better than us. I originally planned to thank the village chief Makino for putting the wine glass in front of the village chief angrily, and with great force, the shaking wine flew out part of it. With a hum, Makino turned his head and left, but Rist liked their atmosphere. After all, it made the distance between him and Makino closer. Amidst the laughter of these people, Riester seemed to have suddenly made up his mind, and strode forward to Makino's face, grabbed his hands directly, and clasped them in his hands. And Makino's face turned red at this moment, and she seemed to have expected what Riester was going to do. The many villagers who saw this scene all fell silent in an instant. Makino, I am happy. Just when Riester was about to say the last two words, the door of the tavern was suddenly kicked open violently, and everyone's eyes once again shifted from Riester and Makino to others. I saw a wretched-looking man wearing a brown robe, walking slowly in with his waist, and behind him followed a few people with guns, looking at the surrounding villagers with a smile on his face. And Riester, who sensed the arrival of these people, instantly aroused infinite anger in his heart. Hey, bring me all the wine you have here. Just listen to the arrogant saying of the leader. Hearing these words, Makino also took his hand out of Lister's hand, and immediately made Lister feel a sense of emptiness in his heart. Sorry, everyone, our wine here is sold out. Makino said with an apologetic face that the wine had already been sold out in the morning. It's sold out. Do you know who our boss is? Our boss is Sig, the big mountain thief with a reward of 6 million. Hearing that person said that, everyone in the tavern took a deep breath. They really hadn't seen anyone with a bounty of 6 million. With the existence of Garp, they had lived a peaceful life for too long. I have completely forgotten what it feels like to be dangerous. Garp is not here now, and their hearts are a little panicked. The bandits also saw Riester wearing a marine coat, but they just regarded Riester as a hairy boy, which could not attract their attention at all, and they were bandits, not pirates. Sorry, it's really sold out. Advertisement, Makino said apologetically again. Cut, really bad luck, let's go. Then the leading bandit said so. Sig also knew that there was a marine general here, so he didn't dare to make too much trouble here. Hearing the leader Sig's words, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, except Rist, of course. Just as the bandit was about to go outside, a voice suddenly rang. Wait a moment. I saw Riester's face very gloomy. Rist, don't be impulsive, Makino said hurriedly when he heard Lister's words. Why, you marine want to be nosy, Sig said arrogantly, with contempt in his eyes. Do you know that you just interrupted a major event in my life? When he said this, Lister said it through gritted teeth, and he didn't know when the next time he mustered up the courage. Why, do you have an opinion? I will arrest you now in the name of Marine. Ha, you Marine is really arrogant. First, haven't killed Marine yet, and I don't know what it feels like to kill a Marine. Since you have come to the door, I will give you a try first. After speaking, Sig directly took out the gun from his waist and shot directly at the door of Lister. What? Makino was so frightened that he closed his eyes, and the other villagers closed their eyes unwillingly. They had guns, so they didn't dare to act rashly. However, afterwards, the scene fell into silence. The villagers did not say anything, and the bandits did not say anything. Slowly, Makino opened one eye and found that Lister was standing in front of him. I don't know why. Seeing Lister's back, Makino suddenly felt relieved. Is this the only thing that is the only way for bandits who offer 6 million yuan in rewards? Amidst the dumbfoundedness of the bandits, Riester's voice rang, but now their attention was obviously not on what Riester had said, but on Riester's unharmed face when shot by the bullet. Chapter 93. Are you a man or a ghost? The thief Sieg said in a trembling tone that it was the first time he saw a human being able to block bullets. What do you say? A murderous aura burst out of Riester's body. Of course, this murderous aura was only aimed at Sieg and other bandits, but the villagers in Makino felt a biting chill. Run! Sieg yelled and ran out the door first, followed by his followers. I let you run away. After speaking, a powerful aura broke out directly from Rist's body. This was Conqueror's Hockey, and under this aura, Nasig and his men didn't even have a second. Hold on, just fainted directly. Fortunately, they all fainted outside the tavern, saving Riester's effort. That's it? Returned the bandit? It's really not as good as rubbish. Afterwards, Rist walked out of the tavern and said contemptuously to the bandits who had fainted on the ground. But immediately afterwards, there was a golden light on his feet, facing the fainted bandit, one person and 1 foot, all kicked into the air, turned into a meteor and disappeared. Obviously, falling from such a high altitude, it is impossible to survive. Makino, how is my strength? Rist's tone was excited, as if to show off to Makino as if asking for credit. However, his observation Hockey suddenly sensed that Makino was exuding a feeling of fear, and in the end, his tone of voice was involuntarily weakened. Did you scare him? After Riester murmured, he turned into a golden light and left here. At this time, Rist's heart was full of resentment towards the bandits, because he felt that Makino seemed to have a bad impression of him. Rist. Seeing Riester leaving, Makino chased outside the door, but it was too late. By the time he went out, Riester had already disappeared. I didn't expect that guy Rist to be so strong. After a long time, the silence in the tavern was broken, and a young villager said with a little fear, you know, this is the most often he teased Riester. He won't come back to retaliate against me. It's true that he wants to arrest us, right? Suddenly, these villagers in the tavern fell into panic. What are you talking about? Advertisement. The village chief knocked on the table with his walking stick and said angrily. Riester is Marine. He has any reason to attack us, and he is Marine from Garp. Even if you don't believe him, you must believe in Garp. Yeah, with Garp Vice Admiral here, what else do we need to be afraid of? Hearing these words, the atmosphere in the tavern became live again, of course, except for Makino. I don't know why, when Riester left, she seemed to feel the disappointment in Riester's heart, and she seemed to have lost something in her heart. And the Marines on the warship saw the unkind expression on Riester's face, and they were very witty and didn't bother him, except for Bruce of course. What's the matter, sir? Is it possible that you failed to confess? Bruce said in a weird tone. Gather all the Marines for me, and sweep all the bandits around me. I don't want any bandits in the vicinity of the windmill village. Yes, sir. Hearing Riester's serious and angry tone, of course Bruce knew what to do. All the soldiers were summoned immediately. The soldiers on a warship were divided into 3 groups, centered on the village of Windmill, and started to sweep towards the mountains where they were walking. Only the bandits were the only ones who would not show mercy. Soon, Riester was left alone on the warship, and this group of bandits would not be able to take action personally. After all, the soldiers on his warship are all naval headquarters soldiers. Even if they are not elites, they are not comparable to these East Blue bandits. No, all the Marines on the warship are dispatched. Such a big movement naturally attracted the attention of some villagers in Fengche village. They rushed to the tavern in Makino and reported to the village chief. What? Riester doesn't really plan to attack us, right? What do you think? The village chief scolded those people. Where did those Marines go? Afterwards, the village chief said to the person who came to report. I don't know, but I think they are divided into 3 groups, as if they are heading for a few mountains around our village. On the mountain, is it possible that they want to attack the bandits around our village? The village chief thought of this kind of guess right away, but I have to say that his guess is still very reliable. It should be like this. After all, Riester confessed that he failed because of bandits. It is estimated that his anger towards bandits is much stronger than us. Advertisement. The tavern that Riester went to in the morning was destroyed at noon, but at night, Riester had already received several good news from his men. Those bandits met Marine like ears of wheat waiting to be harvested. There is no resistance. Rest in place and continue to sweep tomorrow. This is an order from Riester to them. Yes, sir. Although the mountains at night are very dangerous and there are often beasts and the like, Rist is not at all worried about their safety. This is not the Grand Line. If they can't even deal with the ordinary beasts on the East Blue Mountain, then don't be a Marine. You can just go home and farm. Soon the next day arrived. Hearing the battle reports from the phone room from time to time, finally relieved some of Riester's inner anger. Blue blue blue. Riester's phone worm rang again. Why, what scale of pirates have been wiped out this time? Rist answered the phone and said indifferently, Sir, there was a slight accident this time. What's wrong? Hearing the word, other, Riester's expression instantly became serious. There is one person who will not let us wipe out this group of pirates. Who? Won't you arrest him? We can't beat him. Can't beat it? Riester's voice went up a notch. Rist, what the hell are you doing? At this time, the voice in the phone room suddenly changed and became a bit strong. Garp Vice Admiral? I'm just killing the bandits. Rist suddenly remembered that there seemed to be a bandit who had a good relationship with Garp. You fellow, come over to me quickly. Garp was very angry. Fortunately, he had come a step early. If he came a step late, the consequences would be disastrous. Chapter 94 Rist directly unfolded his observation hockey, immediately found the breath of Garp, and then directly used the ability of sparkling fruit to fly in the direction of Garp. And on a certain mountain, the soldiers of Riester had a stalemate with the bandits opposite them, but the Marines dared not do anything, because there was a Garp Vice Admiral in front of them. The angry eyes seemed to they ate the same. Then, in front of everyone, a human figure made up of golden light appeared. When Garp saw the incoming person, he attached armament hockey directly to the fist hill, raised his fist, and then raised his fist towards the golden figure. Of course, the incoming person was not to be outdone, and he also raised his fist and threw it directly. Suddenly, two fists full of strange power collided, and the ground under their feet instantly appeared like a spider web crack, and the surrounding trees were also broken because of the aftermath of the two fists. Garp Vice Admiral, what are you doing? Rist said in a bad tone. He had just arrived, and the one who greeted him turned out to be a big fist. Who can bear it? Riester couldn't bear it anyway. I want to ask you what you are doing, Riester. However, although the two people were talking, the strength in their hands did not relax in the slightest. I'm just killing the bandits, but you, Garp Vice Admiral, why stop us from suppressing the bandits? Is it possible that you want to betray Marine? Riester put a big hat on Garp directly, but he rarely sees Garp deflated, so this time, of course he has to play the scene well, as Garp sees through by then. What will Riester have? He didn't think about the consequences himself. You are Marine, not an army. You are not in charge of the bandits. Why Garp Vice Admiral protects these bandits? Could it be that these bandits are friends with Garp? Yes, they're the old man's friends. Hearing Garp's words, Riester and the bandits behind him were all stunned. Rist didn't expect Garp to admit it so generously, and the thieves were very touched in their hearts. You must know that they have never dared to cause trouble, because they were completely forced by Garp's lewdness. Since it's Garp Vice Admiral's friend, then forget about it. Afterwards, the two retreated at the same time. The Marines behind Riester were completely shocked just now. One was their boss and the other was Marine's hero. They didn't know which side to help. But Riester, what happened? Garp asked. He knew something must have happened during his absence that he didn't know, otherwise Riester couldn't do it. When Riester heard Garp's question, his face changed, and he didn't speak. It was obvious that he didn't want to answer Garp's question. Bruce, where are the other bandits? Advertisement. Sir, apart from the bandits here, there are no other bandits around. Hearing Bruce say this, it was not Rist at the beginning, but the bandits guarded by Garp. Does that mean that we are the biggest bandits here? A bandit said excitedly. Afterwards, the bandits burst into cheers, but when they saw Riester staring at them, they immediately calmed down, and there was a hint of panic in their eyes, as if they were eating fish, and the fishbone stuck in their throats. Same. Rist, let me introduce you. This is my friend, Dan. Garp said directly to an old woman with golden hair, fat body and fierce complexion. Hello, brother Marine. Hearing Garp introduce himself, Dan immediately ran to Rist, put his hands in front of him, rubbing each other, showing a flattering smile. I don't like people smoking in front of me. Hearing this, Dan threw the cigarette into the ground immediately, and then stomped it out with his feet. He, brother Marine, there is no smoke now. Cut, cowardly woman. At this time, a discordant voice suddenly rang in the ears of everyone present. Rist extended observation hockey, only to feel the breath of a little boy, and there was a familiar feeling in the breath of this boy. There is Roger's breath in this kid's breath. Hearing what Riester said, Garp's face changed, those of the bandits change, the little boy's face change, and even those of Marine's face change. Rist, you. Just listening, Garp's tone instantly became more solemn and serious. Ha, just kidding, close the team. Afterwards, Rist returned directly to the warship with his soldiers. Garp was silently staring at Riester's back in a daze. Advertisement, Rist, has your observation hockey reached this level? Almost everyone who cultivates the ultimate observation hockey will awaken some special attributes, and the special aura query just now should belong to the awakening attribute of observation hockey of Riester. Garp Vice Admiral, what should I do? Boldly came to Garp's side, looked fiercely at Rist's back and said. Put away your immature thoughts, he wants to kill you, all he needs is a look. He is blind and has eyes. When Garp heard this, he knew he was going to suffer. He knew that Rist hated people saying he was blind because he was not blind. Squat down. Garp shouted immediately, and Dan was pressed down by Garp. Those who don't squat in time are directly bald, because a huge sword energy flew over their heads just now. The house behind them had been smoothly cut in half. Next time, it will be your head that will fly down. Riester's voice usually echoed in their ears because of Shinigami, and after Riester led his marine away, these bandits didn't slow down. I'm going. Is this still a human? Dan whispered, for fear of being heard by Riester again. Well, this is indeed a question worth studying. Hearing Dardan's question, Garp also fell into thinking, how can ordinary people have so many devil fruit abilities in their bodies? But what about Ace? Don't worry, Riester is a man of measure. Is there any measure? Looking at the bandit huts that had become two sides, Dan repeated the words that one side had a sense of measure. It's really reasonable. Chapter 95, Sir, what did you mean by that sentence? The kid just now wasn't Roger's child, right? Bruce asked in a low voice. He thought the words Rist said just now were worth pondering. I was joking with you. Do you think Roger's child will show up next to Garp Vice Admiral? Makes sense. Bruce nodded in agreement. One is the One Piece and the other is the Marine hero. The relationship between the two can only be the enemy, and ordinary soldiers will never know that Garp and Roger are still close friends. One day later, Makino still came to the pub to work in the morning as usual, but when she saw that there was no Rist at the door, she couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. This is how I am, Makino covered his chest and asked himself. But no one can answer his answer to this question. This answer can only be explored on her own. And Riester is now lying on the side wall of the warship, facing the direction of the Makino tavern, observing Makino's every move. Why is Makino sad? Did something happen? Feeling the sadness emanating from Makino's body, Rist's heart sank, and there was a feeling of inexplicability in his heart. In short, it was very bad. Why, our chief does not need to visit Miss Makino today. Bruce, who woke up early, joked to Riester, I'm afraid she hates me. Why? Because he saw my violent side yesterday. I was afraid that she would not like me like this. Hearing what Riester said, Bruce lay a palm directly on Riester's back, without the slightest remaining strength. What are you doing? With this palm, Riester grinned. Is this the Riester I know? A man who once faced Kaido, the great pirate in New World, had his face change. Now he is timid towards a woman. You have changed you. Nonsense, can that be the same? Rist said angrily. Kaido is the enemy, but Makino is not. If you like you, go after it bravely. If you don't see her, how do you know if she really hates you or fears you? These guesses are all your wishful thinking. We should be leaving in a few days. If you don't act anymore, you may really have no chance in the future. Go and meet him, maybe you can still have unexpected gains. This advertisement Rist was a little tempted, but he was still very hesitant in his heart. Do you want to see her lying in the arms of other men in the future? Seeing the hesitant Rist, Bruce added another violent fire. In no mood. After speaking, Riester turned into a golden light and disappeared in front of Bruce's eyes. Is this right? Is this a young man? Young people should dare to work hard? Bruce smiled like an old father. In the next second, Riester appeared directly at the entrance of the Makino tavern, but when he got here, Riester was a little timid again. But at this time, Bruce's sentence, do you want to see her lying in the arms of other men in the future? This sentence rekindled Riester's courage and opened the door directly and walked in. Makino, who was cleaning, heard the door opening and looked up. When he saw that the person was Riester, a bright color suddenly appeared in his eyes, and he put down the cleaning props in his hand and ran towards Riester. He went over and threw himself in his arms. Makino's move directly made Riester a little helpless, and he didn't know how to put his hands. Rist. Hearing Makino's soft voice in his ear, Rist also wrapped Makino's body. Makino, I like you, Rist whispered softly in Makino's ear. After saying this, Rist's heart was very nervous, and his heartbeat speeded up a lot involuntarily. Well, I know. I like you too, Riester. Hearing these words, Rist's heart was completely happy, and the arm holding Makino became harder. As if time had stopped in this scene, a ray of sunlight from the door also happened to shine on the two people. This is a very beautiful picture. Even if someone passed by the door, they wanted to say hello and looked at the two people hugging each other, but they abruptly held back what they wanted to say and turned their faces. With a kind smile, he left silently. Then, after some time, the two separated. Makino, I'm sorry, there is one thing I lied to you. What's the matter? Makino was a little flustered when she heard Riester say this, because she didn't even know what Riester would say next. Actually, I am not a blind man. Hearing these words from Riester, Makino exhaled slowly. She thought it was something serious. Advertisement, I know. You know? How did you know? This time it was Riester's turn to be surprised, because I haven't seen a blind person who walks faster than normal people, can walk to the door of my tavern accurately, and can also help me serve these guests. Hee. Riester smiled embarrassedly. Although Makino didn't know that Riester used observation hockey to accurately find everyone's position, he didn't intend to explain, because Makino might not understand it. Rist. Makino called Rist suddenly. What's wrong? Can I see your eyes? But if it's inconvenient for you, you don't have to. Afterwards, Makino explained again. Fine. After speaking, Riester unwrapped his blindfold, and Makino stared at Riester with breathlessness. Just from the nose, mouth and forehead that Rist showed, you could tell that Riest was very handsome. I'm going to open my eyes. Makino nodded vigorously. Afterwards, Rist opened his eyes slowly, and suddenly met Makino, who was staring at him intently. In this way, the faces of both of them were a little reddish and a little shy, but neither of them looked away from them. Some people ruined a face with a pair of eyes, but Riester's eyes clearly added points to his face. Riester, who opened his bright eyes, made his entire face look more beautiful. After that, the faces of the two slowly approached, and at the same time they both slowly closed their eyes. Rist only felt his lips touch a slippery and slightly hard object. That's the nose. Oh, sorry. Then Riester's mouth moved downward, and finally came across a soft, tender, and fragrant soft spot, which made Riester involuntarily addicted to it. Chapter 96. In this way, after the two people confirmed the relationship, Riester seemed to be more courageous, sitting directly at the bar of the pub, staring at Makino without squinting. No matter where Makino is, Riester's gaze all staring at that place. Makino was so embarrassed that he could only stare at Riester in anger, but he responded with Liester's faceless smile. For this, Makino had no choice but to follow Liester's will, let him keep staring. The guests who came to the tavern were also surprised to find that Liester was not a blind person and had been fooling them for so long, but they did not dare to say anything to Liester. After all, where is Liester's strength? And Liester has never admitted to them that he is blind. Over time, everyone in the tavern also noticed the anomaly between Liester and Makino. Although they didn't dare to make fun of Liester, they dared to make fun of Makino. After all, Makino could be said to have grown up. Little by little, I watched Makino grow from a little girl to a big beauty. From time to time, the face of Makino's laughter was flushed, and the laughed Makino would throw hockey on a smiling Riester, put his hand into his waist, and twisted it hard. Although Makino doesn't hurt when screwing it up, Riester still pretends every time. His facial features are all wrinkled together, pretending to look unbearable pain. Of course, Makino's heart immediately softened as soon as he saw Liester with this expression, and touched the place where she had just pinched. In this way, time passed bit by bit, and happy days passed very happily, at least Riester now thinks so. Even if he didn't give up, it was finally the day of parting. Sometimes, Riester is thinking about whether to live here in Windmill Village and live a sturdy life with Makino, but Makino doesn't want him to be like this. Riester is a marine. He hopes Rist can save more people from the hands of the pirates. Garp had already returned to the warship, waiting for Liester, and soon, in his eyes, Liester came to the port surrounded by a group of people, and Liester was standing next to Liester. Except for Makino, who is here to send Riester, everyone else is here to send Garp. Makino. Rist called Makino's name, but he couldn't tell the difference. Suddenly, Makino stood on tiptoe and hugged Rist directly, wrapped his hands around his neck, leaned his head on his shoulder, and whispered in his ear. Be careful all the way, Liester, I will always be here waiting for you. Well, Makino, when I come back, I will come back to see you often. The two hugged each other. Originally, Rist wanted to kiss, but Makino was too shy. In the eyes of so many people, he was embarrassed at all. Rist wanted to use Conqueror's hockey to give these people, fainted. Advertisement, but if he did that, he would be the first to face Garp's iron fist. In Makino's reluctant gaze, Rist was forcibly carried on a warship by his adjutant. At this time, Bruce was like a villain who broke up a team of lovers. Makino watched the warship get farther and farther, and gradually disappeared in front of his eyes, before he went back with the rest of the villagers. I really regret bringing you here. Garp looked at Rist and said angrily. He did not expect that Rist would hook up Makino in the past few days when he was absent. But I still have to thank you, Garp Vice Admiral. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to meet Makino yet. When Makino was mentioned, Rist's face showed a happy smile. Then I fell into fantasy in my mind, dreaming about my wedding with Makino, dreaming about the children of the two people, and dreaming about the life of the two people together. You guy. Garp hit Liester with an iron punch, knocking him out of those fantasies directly. The report chief, Garp Vice Admiral, spotted a pirate ship at 3 o'clock from the warship. Bring the cannonball. No, leave it to me. Rist directly took over Garp's task, and then directly turned into a golden light and came to the pirate ship. Who are you guys? The pirates were immediately attracted by the dazzling golden light. Seeing the golden light slowly forming a human form, they said in a little panic that they had never met such a person. Are you pirates? You are really weak. Damn it, you guys dare to look down on us. After speaking, one person directly rushed over with the knife in his hand and cut Riester lazily. Advertisement, successful. All the people on the pirate ship were beaming. Isn't it so good? The pirate captain, who was a little panicked just now, immediately began to say triumphantly. It's really amazing. At this moment, the person they thought had been killed by them started to speak again, and the body turned into two halves, and the upper body turned into a series of light spots directly condensed on the lower body. A safe and sound Rist appeared in front of everyone again. Monster. Suddenly, everyone on the pirate ship was in panic. It was the first time they saw someone who was split in half, who was able to speak, and was able to resurrect. You are lucky today. I am in a good mood to catch up, so I don't want to do too many murders today. No, I beg this Master Marine to spare us, we won't be pirates again. This sentence, wait for you to go to jail and talk to the judge. These pirates are not even qualified to enter Impel Down, at most they are serving their sentences in the ordinary Marine branch prison. Afterwards, a golden aura broke out directly from Liester's body. The pirates who were shrouded by this momentum all fainted after a second glance. The entire pirate ship fell into silence, only the sound of the waves and the occasional passing seagulls could be heard. Yeah, your kid has changed his temper, and you didn't even kill anyone. Soon the warship also came. Looking at the situation on the pirate ship, Garp said in surprise, you know, Rist had almost never kept alive the pirates before, because he had learned Zephyr's lesson. But this time he didn't kill the first person who was unprecedented. Lousy is in a good mood, Lousy is happy. Chapter 97 New Mission. Within a few days, the warship had arrived at the naval headquarters, but this time it came back. There was no such big battle as the last time. After saying hello to Sengoku, Rist returned to Marine Academy. At this time, the atmosphere in the Marine Academy is very hot, everyone is in full swing on the training ground, and in the elite class, every student is practicing Marine 6 styles. Basic physical training is enough for them. What they are training is the skills of Marine 6 styles. They are still a few months away, and they are about to go to the graduation examination, so they are training very seriously now. Even Zephyr is carefully supervising the training of these students. As long as any student is slightly lax, Zephyr will be severely reprimanded. Rist has been watching the gate of the elite class for a long time, and Zephyr has not found him. It suffices to show how serious Zephyr is now. However, the players who trained hard still found Riester. After all, such a big living person is there will always be a glimpse of him. It didn't matter if one or two showed surprised and shocked expressions, but a group of people showed shocked expressions, which naturally attracted Zephyr's attention. Zephyr looked back, just to find that Rist was leaning against the wall, looking at him with a smile on his face. "Master, it's been a long time." Seeing Zephyr found out about himself, Rist luckily greeted him. "You kid, finally came back." Zephyr came straight to Rist's face, patted his shoulder and said with satisfaction. "I have heard of everything you did at Sabodi Archipelago, and I am proud of you. This is good for Master's education. It's a pity, alas, Sengoku can't withstand the pressure from above, otherwise, this shit big pirate era would have long since disappeared. It can be said that the prevalence of pirates now has a lot to do with the inaction of the world government. I haven't been here for the past 2 years, so my practice hasn't fallen." Zephyr squeezed Riester's muscles. "Of course, Master, is it possible that you want to practice with me?" "Forget it, I was no longer your opponent 2 years ago, I don't want to fight with you kid anymore." Zephyr smiled and said, Zephyr is very satisfied with Riester's strength. He believes that Riester has been stationed in Sabodi Archipelago for more than a year. There is no slack at all. Riester's current strength may not be known to anyone except himself. Bar. Advertisement, how long can you stay this time? I don't know, Marshal Sengoku gave me a 1-month holiday. There should be 5 days left now, but the situation on the sea is very complicated now, and I don't know if the 5-day holiday is complete. It's okay. If you can take a day off, let's take another day off. After all, for us Marine, there is not much leisure time. You are now training freely, and tomorrow I will check the results of your training. Yes, Teacher Zephyr. After Zephyr and Rist left, the students in the elite class began to whisper. That person was Riester instructor just now, right? Yes, he is Riester instructor. Riester instructor is really handsome. One of the elite female students said with an idiot. I don't know when I will be able to stand beside Riester instructor. Now Riester is also a textbook person at Marine Academy, and the deeds recorded therein are naturally his deeds at Sabodi Archipelago over the past year. Then you have to wait until you have a strong strength, otherwise you won't even be qualified to say hello to Riester instructor. Everyone sighed helplessly. Although they are elites, they are not even a fart in front of Rist. They have served as the instructor of the 4 elite classes. Now the famous generals in Marine can be called, almost 1 in 10 is a student of Riester. In the evening, Zephyr made a big meal for Riester directly, and a large table was directly filled with various meats. It's been a long time since I tasted Master's craftsmanship. I really miss it. Listen to that B**************** D Garp. You found me a niece? As soon as Zephyr said this, Riester's face turned a little red. Riester replied slightly, and a happy smile appeared on his face when he thought of Makino. What does it look like? Advertisement. Zephyr's eyes lit up slightly, and a trace of 8 trigrams heart rose up. Afterwards, Riester took out a photo from his clothes. This was taken by the intelligence officer on the warship. You must know that the camera on the intelligence officer is usually used to take pictures of pirates. This is the first time I used this camera to take pictures of ordinary people. When Zephyr saw the photo in Riester's hand, his face was also quite satisfied. Yes, it looks good. What's your personality? The character is pretty good. Well, just don't have the same character as Garp's B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* abduction of Rist, but he hasn't found time to clean up Garp yet. At the following dinner, Riester and Zephyr were drinking and chatting. Riester and Zephyr told Zephyr all the deeds of the past year, and Zephyr also complained to Riester about how many elite students were in this class. It's not up to you, one class worse than one class. As the wine drank more and more, the drunkenness of the two gradually rose, and finally Riester didn't even know how to get into bed. For the next few days, Rist had been with Zephyr and helped Zephyr train some of the elite class students when he was okay. The trainees were very active when they saw Riester. This made Zephyr a special taste, feeling that for these children, he was the next one. Sengoku seems to have specially set aside a period of time for Riester and Zephyr to get together, and has never given Riester a new task. However, the quiet days passed quickly, and Rist had rested for about a week before Sengoku's herald had been found. Report to Riester Rear Admiral, Marshal Sengoku invites you to come. Okay, I know. It is a new task to want to come, maybe when will I be able to come back? So Rist first found Zephyr, said goodbye to him, and then went to Marshal Sengoku to report. Marshal Sengoku. Here you are, Riester, there is a task here that just needs to be handed over to you. You can take a look at it for yourself first. Yes, Marshal. Chapter 98 New World, Skybird Pirate Group? The mission this time is the Skybird Pirates. The Skybird Pirates are stationed in New World. Even in New World, they are considered to be powerful pirates. They are only in Beasts Pirates, Ant Pirates and Whitebeard Pirates. A group of big pirates like this. Well, The bird pirate group recently took control of a government-joining country. This behavior completely ignited the anger of the world government, so this cancer must be eradicated to prevent similar pirate groups from appearing again. Have you controlled a world government franchise country? It was discovered. This is really an act of death. Riester sighed. This method is much different from Crocodile and Doflamingo in the future. You must know that the two countries they secretly control have not been discovered by the world government. It may also be due to the identity of the two people Shichibukai. Legitimate pirates. This mission is very dangerous. It is not only the Skybird pirates, but also the other big pirates who are entrenched in New World. Therefore, apart from entrusting you to this mission, no one is more suitable for this mission than you. Task. Skybird pirates, Captain Skybird Firks, Zone Devil Fruit, Eudemons, Goldwing Bird Fruit. Bounty of 1.79 billion Baileys. This bounty is enough to rank in the top 10 in the world. It stands to reason that such big pirates, as long as they do not go too far, or there is no special opportunity, Marine will not shoot them. For this mission, the Flying Squirrel Rear Admiral and Doberman Rear Admiral will be assigned to you. You can send them as you like. In this mission, you will be appointed the highest commander. Yes, Marshal. When Rist heard that he had transferred the Flying Squirrels and Doberman to his own use, he was more confident to complete the mission. If there is only Riester, even if it is to complete the task, it is estimated that their Marine will be considered heavy. After all, there are still a few cadres in the Skybird pirate group, and these cadres are not bad in strength. They all have a bounty of 700 or 800 million. In the face of such pirates, ordinary Marines are definitely not enough to watch. Requires elite officers from naval headquarters. You two come in. As soon as Sengoku spoke, two people walked in from the door. One has a fierce complexion with two X-shaped scars on his face, and the other has a Mohican haircut and a beard. These two people are Doberman Rear Admiral and Flying Squirrel Rear Admiral. Advertisement. Hello, List Rear Admiral. The two men made a military salute to List at the same time. Hello, Flying Squirrel Rear Admiral, Doberman Rear Admiral. List also gave a military salute to the two. This mission has Riester Rear Admiral as the top commander, and you two must take orders from Riester Rear Admiral. Yes, Marshal. Although these two are Rear Admiral, their strength is no longer weaker than the current Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. As long as they accumulate some military exploits, the two of them can be promoted to Vice Admiral. Then the three of them boarded a warship and set off. Because they were going to New World, they had to pass through the holy place Marijoy, but even if they were Marine, they had to pass through Marijoy with certain procedures. I've heard of the name of Lister Instructor for a long time. When I saw it today, it was really extraordinary. After leaving the Sengoku office, the three greeted each other. I'm overwhelmed. In some respects, I still have to learn from the two seniors. Both of these two are Zephyr's disciples. Although they are not apprentices, they have known Zephyr much earlier than Riester, so there is no problem with Riester calling them seniors. It can be said that Riester has the youngest rank among all Marine general officers. Then the three warships set off from naval headquarters. As for the passage through Marijoy, it would be better to leave it to his adjutant. Marijoy is everywhere celestial dragons. If it is inconvenient to meet them, even if it is their naval headquarters Rear Admiral who meets celestial dragons had to kneel on one knee. Only Admiral can stand in front of celestial dragons. So when passing by Marijoy, Lister has been lying dormant on the warship. I have to say that since the Tiger incident, Marijoy's defense is really strict. Even their warships have to be checked one by one, searching room by room. Advertisement of course, Lister was not accustomed to these problems. When those inspecting people stood at the door of his room, Lister's body broke out with a terrifying aura which directly frightened those who wanted to search. Only if they dared to come in, Rist dared to chop off their hands. They were also aware of the fatal danger, and after hesitating for a few seconds, they left directly. Even when they reported to the above, they did not report the matter because Lister's observation hockey had been locking them down. As long as they say a wrong word, what awaits them is death. Although they were members of the world government, they still regretted their lives, and Marines still belonged to the same camp as them, so this thing passed. Going down from the other direction of Marijoy is New World. At this time, Riester also came out of his room. Although this is not the first time he has come to New World, it is only the second time, and the look and feel of New World is different each time. I have to say that when he first came to New World gave him a big gift. It was noon, but the sky was very dark, with lightning and thunder, wind and rain. The warship swayed in this harsh environment, and it was difficult to control the direction. Except for Lister and Bruce, most of the soldiers on the warship looked scared. After all, it was the first time they came to New World and they had never seen such a harsh environment. Compared with the soldiers on the Riester warship, the soldiers on the Flying Squirrel Rear Admiral and Bruce Rear Admiral are much better. After all, they are not the first time to come to New World. They are already familiar with the environment of New World. However, such a harsh environment is rare even in New World. It was the first time they saw them, and their hearts couldn't help but hang up. The Flying Squirrels and Doberman both had serious faces. Some of the waves made them have to deal with it, but they also distracted some attention from Lister. They wanted to see what Lister was using. What way to deal with this situation. Although they have always heard the rumors about Lister, they just want to see if Lister has the strength that matches the rumors. I saw Lister put on a posture of drawing a sword. Armament hockey directly covered his hand, armed on the sword. One Sword Style, Diablo Song Zanshin, Chapter 99 The Skybird Pirate Group. I saw a black sword aura directly flew out of the knife in Rist's hand. At the moment when this black sword aura came out, the entire world seemed to have lost its original color. It's black. The black sword energy flew directly to the dark clouds in the sky, and the thick cloud layer accompanied by lightning was directly split into two under the blow. The bright sun shot in directly from the crack of the dark cloud, so here, a strange scene appeared. The sun was shining on the sea line of the warship situation, but still on the sky on both sides of the warship. It was dark clouds, lightning and thunder. Riester's action directly shocked all the Marines present, even flying squirrels and Doberman. Although their ranks are the same as Riester's, they are both Marine Rear Admiral, but they were used by Riester just now. That blow has already reached a high sentence. The two of them asked themselves what would happen if they encountered Riester's blow. As a result, no matter what coping method they imagined in their minds, there was only one final result, death. They found that if Riester used that sword move on them, death would be waiting for them. Riester's strength has exceeded their cognition, and this strength can be used as Marine Admiral. The soldiers who had been following Riester for more than a year were also shocked in their hearts. Their mouths could not close, and their eyes were already protruding. It was the first time they saw Riester use such a powerful sword move. And they watched the look of Rist, and after using such a powerful sword move, the expression was still the same as before, which showed that such a powerful sword move did not cause much consumption to Rist. This is a trick created by Riester. Although he has Golden Lion's sword skills, Golden Lion is a double swordmaster after all. Riester can't use Golden Lion's sword skills with just a knife, out of full strength. So Rist intends to create some moves of his own, one that only he can use. With this trick alone, you can aspire to be the most powerful swordsman in the world. Bruce walked to Rist's side and said in shock, who knows? Rist is not very interested in the position of the world's #1 swordsman. The previous #1 swordsman in the world is hiding in a corner of the world and I don't know what he is doing, and the next #1 swordsman in the world, Hawkeye. Mahawk hasn't grown up yet. Therefore, the position of the world's #1 swordsman has been vacant. Although there are still people who call themselves the world's greatest swordsman from time to time, it didn't take long for this kind of people to be defeated by the swordsman who challenged him. The title of the world's largest swordsman should not be self-appointed, but recognized by all swordsmen in the world. Advertisement: if Riester admits that he is the world's largest swordsman, it is estimated that his future life will not be peaceful. Well, let's see how long we can reach the Kingdom of Halal. The Kingdom of Halal is a member of the world government in New World, and it is also the kingdom occupied by the Skybird pirates. Sir, if there is no accident, it will take about 3 days to arrive, but it does not rule out that there will be some harsh environments on the road, which will delay the trip. Okay, I see. Although Marine is at a disadvantage in New World, the 3 warships are together, and there is no pirate who is not long-eyed to provoke them, but they are all interested in these Marines who suddenly came to New World, and they all want to let's take a look, what is the purpose of these Marines coming to New World this time? There are already quite a few pirate groups behind them secretly. However, the big pirates didn't care about the Marines. As long as the large troops of Marines came to New World, they would have nothing to worry about. And on the throne of the Halal Kingdom, a handsome man with long blonde hair, dressed in a gorgeous costume, with his legs crossed, one hand on his chin, and a lazy expression on his face. This person is the captain of the Skybird pirate group. Folks, if you look at it from the outside, you can't tell that he is a big pirate, but more like a nobleman. And under the throne are 2 rows of people, all of them from his pirate group, with the second in command on the boat, Borg the Blackbird, and another white dove, White. The strength of these 2 people is also very strong, and they are all zone demon fruit power. Just from their titles, you can know what zone they eat. Captain, some Marines have come to New World recently. Looking at their marching route, their target should be us. Borg said to Ferks, who was sitting on the throne. Oh, did it come so fast? Even if he heard that Marine's target was him, the tone of his speech was still very plain, as if he didn't pay attention to these Marines at all. After all, what we did this time is indeed a bit bigger. Advertisement White also spoke, but they couldn't tell their fear of Marine from their tone of voice. There is no way. Who would let the king of this country not have eyes long and dare to provoke us? He really thought that it was a member of the world government and he could do whatever he wanted. The rest of the men also spoke. Did you find out who the General Marine is this time? Folks spoke again. It's the Marine Rear Admiral who once stationed in the Sabaudi Archipelago, Riester, and the other 2 Rear Admiral, Flying Squirrels and Doberman in Naval Headquarters. Rist of Sabaudi Archipelago, the one who defeated the killer Harris? Yes, it's him. Hearing this, Ferk's eyes raised a little interest. Also, it is said that he was trained by Marine as the next Martial Marine. If it were him, it would not have made this battle too boring. When speaking, Folk's pupils turned golden, as if a golden flame was burning. Don't worry, Captain, you don't need to take action at all. That little devil, I can easily handle him. There was a fierce look on Borg Blackbird's face. Don't underestimate him, Borg, after all, he can kill Harris. Although Folks said so, his tone was still so easy and calm. Huh, that guy Harris is just a villain who dare not show up. If I were to kill him, too. It has to be said that the matter of Riester's killing of Harris has indeed increased Riester's prestige or reputation in the underground world. Chapter 100. Sir, don't you need to deal with the eyes behind you? Bruce asked Riester. Since their marine appeared in the eyes of everyone in New World, the eyes behind them have been more and more. There are those ordinary pirate groups, as well as people from other underground forces. Don't worry about them, just let them take a look and touch the end of Marine's bottom line. If you want to do this, it can also make Marine some deterrent in New World. Yes, sir, I understand. After 4 days, their marine finally reached the Kingdom of Halal, but at this time, the kingdom looked deserted. As a member of the world government, even if it is backward, it is richer than some other countries, but now, there are hardly any merchant ships staying here in the ports of this kingdom. There are only some fishing boats, but it seems that they have not moved for a long time. This group of damn pirates has ruined a good kingdom like this. It's only a few days. Bruce said angrily. Even the Flying Squirrel's Vice Admiral and Dowdman Vice Admiral on the other 2 warships showed anger on their faces. Because they are pirates, let alone whether they have the ability to manage a country well, they have no intention of staying in this country for a long time, because they know that Marine will not let them go, so of course they have to take advantage of it. Enjoy this time now. Riester's expression was also very serious at this time. His observation hockey told him that the residents of this island are living in terror all the time, and the bloody atmosphere on this island is relatively strong, which shows that many people have died on this island in the past few days. This group of its pirates can't be exaggerated to cut them all at once. Although they Marine did not officially land on the island, they all felt the silence on the island. Ooh! At this time, a cry suddenly came into Rist's ears, and most of the Marines on the ship heard the cry. What happened? Riester walked up to the Marine who was holding back the crying, and asked. Report to Rear Admiral. This is my hometown. I don't know how my parents are now. I am very worried about them now. Advertisement. When he said this sentence, the tears that someone held back shed again, and the tone of the speech was very choked. Hearing these words, Rist was silent, and Bruce, who wanted to reprimand the Marine just now, was also silent. Now the Kingdom of Hiller is in this state, which is definitely bad news for this soldier. The other soldiers were also silent, because they didn't know whether it would be their hometown when something similar happened next time. I allow you to stand by on the warship for this mission. You can rest this time. Report to Riester Rear Admiral. I want to go to war. I want to kill these bastards who persecute my hometown with my own hands. Hearing that Rist didn't want him to join the war, he wiped away his tears and said firmly. Are you sure? Report to Rear Admiral. I'm sure. Okay. Then you must pay attention to safety in this mission. Don't act impulsively. You must know that your own life is the most important thing. Yes, list Rear Admiral. Finally, the warship arrived at the port, and the group of people found the port closest to the capital of the Kingdom of Halal and landed, but there were still not many people in the street. However, when the few people on the street saw Riester and them, there was hope in their eyes, but soon they looked around, and then quickly ran into the distance. Sir, what's the matter? Maybe they don't think we can kill this pirate group. After all, people in New World know how embarrassing our marine is in New World. Hearing Riester's explanation, Bruce sighed helplessly, wanting to reverse the impression of Marine in the eyes of the residents of New World. That could not be done overnight. The group of people rushed directly towards the capital, with Riester, Flying Squirrels and Dowdman in front, several other adjutants behind them, and ordinary officers and soldiers after them. Before they were allowed to go for long, a team of people appeared in front of them to stop them, and everyone's face was a very arrogant expression, as if they hadn't paid their attention to Marine at all. The eyes of this group of pirates looking at Riester are just like the eyes of a pirate at Grand Line Marine. It is a look of hunters looking at their prey. Advertisement. These bastards actually treat us as prey. There was some anger in Doberman's tone. He was originally a grumpy person, otherwise it would not be a Kainu's person, belonging to a typical hawkish mission. Calm down, this kind of ant is not yet our turn to take action. Rist said that Doberman's strength was of little use against the ants here. Hey, if you Marine are acquainted, just roll back wherever you go. You are not welcome in New World. A pirate said arrogantly, even though he was facing 3 naval headquarters Rear Admiral. Dubman Rear Admiral, keep your adjutant here and lead some Marines to deal with them. Don't let these wastes delay our time. Yes. Although the two were equal, who made Riester the highest commander in this mission, so he had to follow Riester's orders. Afterwards, Doberman's adjutant led a group of soldiers rushed over, opening a way for Riester and the others. You bastards. The pirate yelled just now that he wanted to stop these Marines from advancing, but he was helplessly blocked by a Marine in front of him. He couldn't make a breakthrough from this Marine at all. You should just stay here honestly for me. Just listen, the Marine in front of him said in a cold voice. Damn it. Even if you can break through my line of defense, you trash can't connect to our captain. Noisy. Rist and the others did not respond to the clamor of the pirate. Even if there are thousands of horses in front of them, even if there are many difficulties in front of them, they will definitely cross over, because they are Marine, they are to punish them. The evil Marine is the Marine that protects the people. They need to be worthy of the 2 words of justice behind them, at least for now. They can no longer disappoint the people of New World. Chapter 101. After more than a month of this book, it is finally about to come to the shelf. Thank you for your strong support during this period, and thank you for your recommended tickets, monthly tickets and rewards during this period. I have also written 4 or 5 novels, but this handbook is among all the books I have written so far. Before it was put on the shelves, the data was the best one. I don't know how the data will be after this book was put on the shelves. I don't know how many readers will leave tomorrow. But I still want to thank you for your company along the way. I know that I also have a lot of shortcomings, not good at writing and not good at creativity, but I will make serious corrections and exercise in the future. I also thank the editor, the boss, for his strong support. Without his guidance, this book would not have its current results. I hope you will still be there when it goes on sale tomorrow. Hope that capable brothers and sisters can subscribe to a wave. Thank you. Chapter 102, Respective Opponents. I'll leave the rest to you. I'll go there for a while. What the hell does this folks have? Okay, Rear Admiral, you be careful. The flying squirrel said to Rist, although the military merits of solving a captain of the pirate regiment are great, but it must be done according to their ability. Although the flying squirrel and Doberman think that they are not weak, they have not yet confident enough to be able to reward the enemy with more than 1 billion pirates. After speaking, Rist directly turned into a golden light, and flew straight to the place of the person with the strongest breath in his observation hockey. On the way he was flying, a white dove and a black bird also appeared, and Riester recognized them. The two were the second and third in command of the Skybird pirates, but Riester did not have the plan to entangle them. 2 laser shots were fired directly with his fingers. After repelling them, Rist went straight to the palace. Damn it. Blackbird Borg uttered angrily. He also promised folks before that he would give Rist to his hand. He didn't expect that he would directly break through his defense. Afterwards, he planned to chase in the direction of Riester. Your opponent is me. Suddenly, a flying slash flew straight to Borg, and saw the flying squirrel rushing over on the moonwalk, looking at Borg with a solemn face. Borg's name is also well known in New World. After all, the Skybird pirates are only the pirates under the Beast's pirates, but some people put the Skybird pirates and Beast's pirates in the same position. Which trash is you guy? Borg's tone was very bad. He was embarrassed enough to let Riester pass his defense, but now he was stopped by an unknown marine, which made him feel particularly embarrassed. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Flying Squirrel. Headquarters Rear Admiral. If you want to catch me, you should send at least 1 Vice Admiral. After speaking, Borg transformed into the form of a black bird and rushed directly towards the flying squirrel, seemingly intending to end the battle quickly. Advertisement, to deal with you. You don't need Admiral to take action at all. My little Rear Admiral is enough. I saw that the flying squirrel held a knife in both hands and slashed directly down. It was a very common move. The knife collided with Borg's claws, but there was no picture of Borg's mind being abused by himself. Instead, in this collision, the two people are somewhat evenly matched. What? You fellow, it is absolutely impossible to be Marine Rear Admiral. Seeing that the other party actually blocked his attack, Borg said with a look of disbelief that they hadn't greeted Marine for a long time. It's hardly a matter of years that they haven't seen each other. Is the quality of Marine already so high? Little Rear Admiral, can he do nothing anymore? It seems that our Marine is really looking at you pirates who are in the New World. Now I look at it, but is that so? Also, who told you that Marine's strength is measured by military rank? Damn it. Hearing the contemptuous words of flying squirrels, Borg became even more angry, and a violent aura was exuded from all over his body. At this time, he had completely let go of his strength and exuded the breath of Zone Devil Fruit to Ultimate. You dead mouse, you completely angered me, and I will show you the cruelty of New World. At this time, Borg's tone was already a little hoarse, and a blood-red color appeared in his pupils, and the fierce air directly appeared on Borg's body surface. Only then can you be regarded as the big pirate of New World. Afterwards, the flying squirrel's eyes became solemn, and a powerful aura was exuded from his body, which belonged to Jian Hao. The strong and sharp breath collides with the fierce and violent breath. Although it is not as intense as the collision between Conqueror's Hockey, the collision of the two breath nails is still not to be underestimated. At the same time as Flying Squirrel and Borg fought, Doberman and White also collided. White Pigeon Fruit capable person, White. Unlike Borg who usually wears black clothes, White usually wears white clothes. A white dove that symbolizes peace has appeared among your pirates. Today, I will definitely want this fruit to disappear from your body. There is only one way to make the fruit disappear from the body of the capable person, and that is to kill the opponent. If you can try it. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, Doberman. Advertisement, you know me. This time it was Doberman's turn to be surprised. Although he is Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral, most of his reputation is in the first half of the Grand Line. He has not been to New World several times. And all those few times came with a Kainu Admiral. Even in the battle, he played a small role. Don't underestimate the ability of a pirate group intelligence personnel. White showed a proud smile, seeming to be proud of his intelligence capabilities. Naval Headquarters Doberman Rear Admiral, with the strength of Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral, has not accumulated enough combat exploits, and there has been no battle that can make you famous in the first battle, so you have been unable to be promoted to Vice Admiral, I said. Right? Hearing what White said, Doberman's face instantly darkened. You guy. Doberman involuntarily increased the strength in his hand, but White who was fighting against him was not weak at all, and was also increasing his strength. After I kill you, I can also be promoted to Vice Admiral. Really? But how do I feel that this is Marines giving up to you? Is it possible that you really think that you can defeat our captain with that kid? With his weak strength, you can defeat our captain, who has been famous for a long time. Big pirate, right? How can I know if I don't try? Doberman did not have much confidence in Riester at first, but when he saw Riester's sword, Doberman had already believed in Riester's strength. A great swordsman, and also has an ability that seems to be Logia devil fruit. Even if he really can't beat the opponent, he can guarantee his own retreat. After all, the strength of a great swordsman is not so easy to contend. It's really funny. You Marine will never realize how powerful our captain is. Even if we face the monster of Kaido, our captain can win the victory steadily. I have to say that White already has a blind worship of their captain folks. Perhaps it is too easy to pass by for too long, which has made him lose the most basic ability of judgment. Or they have never seen the power of Kaido. Chapter 103 Golden Red Bird. At this time, Rist also arrived in the palace, and noticed that the man sitting on the throne had exactly the same face as on the wanted order, the captain of the Skybird pirates group, Folks. Marine's clothes are still not gorgeous as before. Seeing Rist's appearance, the expression on Folks' face didn't show any movement, but faintly joked at Marine's costume. The reason why he has such behavior may be that he has absolute confidence in his own strength. He believes that Riester will never be his opponent. Don't you know that sitting and talking to others is a very rude behavior? Rist didn't care about the opponent's verbal attack. Politeness is for people of the same class, but you are not. When speaking the last 3 words, Folks smiled contemptuously on his face. Really, it seems that I was really underestimated by you. If that's the case, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you, just die. After finishing speaking, Riester's figure appeared in front of Folks in an instant. Feng Yin had been out of her sheath, and he chopped down at Folks. In response to this blow, Folks stretched out his feet, but they were not ordinary feet, but the carrier's golden feathered bird claws. The collision between the two produced a chaotic vigor, directly reducing the gorgeousness just now. The palace was in dilapidated condition. Is part of the body devil fruit capable? Rist did not have the slightest surprise that Folks was able to block his own blow. If a New World pirate could not even stop his own blow, then he would have been wiped out by the New World wave. However, compared to Riester's composure, there was a look of shock in Folks' pupils. He didn't seem to have thought that Riester was so fast, or he did not expect Riester to have such a powerful swordsmanship. The seat under Folks also cracked in the blow just now. After the first blow was unsuccessful, Riester withdrew a big step straight back, and Folks had already got up from his chair, and when he got up, the chair under him collapsed. It's really not a flashy attack. My attack is just a murderous attack. Advertisement Riester held Feng Yin in his hand and said calmly. Really? If that's the case, let you see that it can kill and attack very gorgeously. After finishing speaking, Folks opened his arms. A pair of golden wings suddenly appeared behind him, and golden feathers flew out of his wings continuously, surrounding X's whole body was flying. Come on, take a look at my gorgeous attack, Jinkai Feather Strike. I saw that these feathers suddenly rushed towards Rist and flew over, extremely fast, and his feathers did not want to be as soft as other bird feathers, but as hard as steel. It's really gorgeous, but it's flashy. Slash wave. Riester directly threw out a sword aura. These golden feathers may be a fatal danger to ordinary people, but for Riester, it is nothing at all. A slash wave directly gives these feathers. All shot down. It flew to the surroundings, and no feather appeared within 5 meters of Riester. Oh roar, are you capable? The expression on Folks' face was still the same calm, which also aroused a bad taste in Riester's heart. He wanted to see what it looked like when there was an expression of horror on this face. But my attack is far from over. I saw that the feathers that fell on the ground actually flew again, and the original golden feathers became jet black, which was attached to armament hockey. These feathers flew towards Riester one after another, but after being gradually hit by Riester found himself surrounded by these feathers, and feathers from all directions had been aimed at him. Go to hell, Marine. Cut, it's really insidious. But the expression on Riester's face didn't show any panic. I saw that the feathers in all directions flew directly towards Riester, seemingly intending to P***K him into a hedgehog. Advertisement. Bachichang Guyu. Afterwards, Rist was exposed to golden light, and countless light bullets flew out of Rist's body, directly hitting the feathers, and the resulting explosion directly destroyed those feathers. Take out your true strength, Folks, otherwise, you won't have a chance. Rist took Feng Yin and pointed at Folks. The aura of the great swordsman on his body instantly exploded, and every time he took a step forward, his aura grew stronger. When Riester walked 1 meter away from Folks, his aura had reached an extreme, exerting a huge pressure on Folks, and the entire palace building was under the oppression of this momentum. There was a tremor underneath. And Folks's face finally changed, becoming very ugly, and his eyes were also very solemn. Great swordsman, it seems that I really underestimated you just now. Folks said with a serious face. He didn't expect that Rist would have the strength of a great swordsman. You know, even in New World, there are very few great swordsmen. At least he hasn't met in New World. Bin. But what about the great swordsman? Come on, let me see the strength of your great swordsman. I saw that a powerful aura burst out of Folks in an instant, directly contending with the aura of the sword hero on Rist, and the strong wind that generated directly overturned the roof of the palace. And Folks began to grow in size. Cry. The huge gold-winged bird suddenly flew out of the palace and appeared in the sky. Its golden feathers and golden body were exuding a noble golden color all over the body, and there were flames entwining and burning on its wings from time to time. This scene instantly attracted the attention of the entire battlefield, and everyone turned their eyes on the golden red bird. Everyone also felt the terrifying power emanating from the golden-winged bird. This kind of aura directly caused Doberman and flying squirrels to sweat. They found that if their opponent were folks, they would not be able to resist for long. Well, feel the aura of our captain, you Marine has no chance of winning in front of our captain. Borg said madly. But in the next second, a more powerful aura swept across the entire battlefield instantly, making Borg's crazy look directly stalemate on his face. Chapter 104 Double Personality. I saw that Rist also flew directly into the air, exuding an aura that was not weaker than that of the golden red bird. I saw Rist's expression indifferent, but this kind of aura made the Marines feel at ease. It seems that your captain is not a big deal. Doberman showed a bloodthirsty smile, but there was still some regret and loss in his heart. His age was a dozen years older than Lister, but his strength was nothing compared to him. Don't underestimate our captain. Hearing this, Borg became angry in an instant. As a loyal supporter of Folks, he would not allow anyone to say something bad about Folks. On the way to the match, Doberman and the Flying Squirrel's opponents have changed, because they both feel that it seems that the opponent's opponent is more suitable for them. The figure of Folks who became a gold-winged bird directly grew to about 7 meters. The growth of his aura and strength made him inexplicably increase in his heart. Apart from some confidence, his eyes were full of contempt when he looked at Rist. Although Lister's breath is similar to him now, he hasn't paid much attention to Lister. This battle should end here, Marine. Folks roared, then opened his beak directly, and a raging flame spurted directly from his mouth, attacking Rist, and the terrifying high temperature made the surrounding air a bit distorted. But Riester was in the flames, his figure did not show any movement, even if the flames attacked his body. I saw that the part of Riester's body burned by the flame turned into a faint light spot, directly from him. Across the body. Logia demon fruit power. Seeing this scene, the flame-breathing Ferks narrowed his eyes. This was something he hadn't expected. But it's useless. I saw that Folks flapped his wings directly, armament hockey attached to the wings, the golden feathers had turned black, and the flames entwined from time to time on the feathers turned black. The flames in Jin Chiniao's mouth stopped, flapping the wings on both sides, and directly launched a pincer attack on Rist, and when the wings were flapping, the flames were also generated. Even if armament hockey has been attached, Riester is naturally unable to elementally evade, and the opponent flaps his wings extremely fast, but this also gives Riester a chance to attack. When he flapped his wings, a gap appeared in front of his body, and this gap made him unable to defend against the body in front of him. It's this time. Advertisement. When the two wings of the golden red bird were about to take a picture of himself, Rist directly used the shave, and instantly moved in front of Folks. At this very close distance, the shave is faster than the elemental speed. Quick. What? Seeing Lister who suddenly appeared in front of him, Folks was shocked, but it was too late to let his body escape. Luxon's sword, Thorn. Following the piercing of this sword move by Rist, a vigorous piercing appeared behind the golden-winged bird. Feng Yin directly inserted into the body of this golden red bird. UB ***************. D. Seeing that he was injured, Folks immediately became very angry, his fiery temper seemed to have been ignited by the flames on the surface of his body, and the whole body was burning with raging flames again. If the flames surrounding the golden-winged bird were a small stream at first, if it is looming, then the flames surrounding the body now are a vast ocean, and wherever you look, there is a blazing flame. Seeing this scene, Rist also instantly pulled Feng Yin out of the gold-winged bird's body and quickly backed away. He could feel that this Folks was about to be in a frantic stage. It seemed that he was about to lose his sanity. Just catch it, pirate, your captain will never be Riester Rear Admiral's opponent. Flying Squirrel said to White with a solemn expression. White's strength is very strong, even if he is not sure to take him completely, the two are now at a level where they are evenly matched, but with a little carelessness, this balance will be broken, so in this battle, both of them were 100% energetic and did not dare to be negligent. I should have said this to you, Flying Squirrel Rear Admiral. What do you mean? Hearing what White said, the Flying Squirrels realized that things were not simple. On the battlefield, anyone with a discerning eye could see that it was Riester who had the upper hand, but this White was still optimistic about their captain. This shows that there are still whole cards left. Do you think we can become the great pirates of New World with this strength? Advertisement. What the hell do you mean? In this regard, Rist is also a little helpless, he can only save some people. But I'm different from the trash just now. Now that I appear, you must be ready to die. Who are you? As White's voice fell, the gold-winged bird facing Rist seemed to lose his mind, breathing flames in all directions. In his indiscriminate attack, not only the pirates lost their lives under the flames, there are people from his pirate group and innocent civilians living here. Who am I? Your question is really ridiculous. Of course I am Folks, ha ha ha. Is that you guy? This couldn't help but make Rist more serious. A personality that only appears when it is in danger, which shows that this personality is definitely more terrifying than the original personality. Wait and see, your Riester Rear Admiral, released a monster. Suddenly, Folks started to speak, but he didn't seem to know Lister in this tone. Volks stopped floating in the air, as if he was asleep, but Rist did not act rashly, because in his observation hockey induction, the original consciousness of Volks seemed to be affected by others. Occupied by consciousness. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Lister guessed that it was as if a person had suddenly changed. Apart from the dual personality, Lister couldn't think of any other reasons. Soon, the frenzied Ferks stopped, but it was also when he was frantic that he caused considerable losses to both sides. Dual personality. After he finished speaking, the flying squirrel's tone was also a little anxious. This matter seemed not so simple anymore. And the aura on the body has also changed. The golden-winged bird, which originally looked more noble, now seems to be full of evil. This guy. Chapter 105. When this Folks appeared, some subtle changes had taken place on the golden-winged bird. The original golden feathers had now become blood red, and the flames on the body had also become evil red. Success, Marine, Folks yelled, and then left directly behind Lister. So fast. For a moment, Rist didn't react at all, and was directly knocked out by the huge wings of Volks, and fell directly to the ground, knocking the ground out of a big hole. What? Seeing this scene, everyone on the battlefield was stunned. It was clear that Riester, who was still pressing FLKs just now, seemed to have reversed the situation. Ha ha ha, this is the true strength of our captain. Borg said frantically, with a fascinating look on his face. It was obvious that he was indeed the loyal little brother of Volks. You don't think that Folks just now is the master of our captain, do you? What do you mean? Daubman frowned and asked, now that his body has also suffered a lot of injuries. After all, this Borg is a real powerhouse, an existence who can resist Marine Vice Admiral. This bloody and violent personality is the master of our captain. Hearing this news, Doberman was a little surprised. Except for some specific circumstances, people with dual personality are generally complementary. For example, if the master personality is very cowardly or timid, then a very violent personality may appear. But if the master personality is already very strong, then it is almost impossible to have a weak personality. That gorgeous Volks is just a means for our captain to suppress the violent factor of his physical strength. Otherwise, with our captain's character, it would never be so peaceful in New World. That's it, thank you for your news. Oh, what's the use after knowing it, that Marine will definitely die in the hands of our captain. Advertisement. The battle is not at the end. Don't jump to conclusions easily, and I believe in our Riester Rear Admiral. Ha ha ha, then I am really looking forward to it. Your ferocious face plunged into despair. No, it will be you, Borg. After finishing speaking, Doberman took out his sword and rushed towards the big black bird incarnation of Borg again. Because the opponent was able to fly, Doberman had no advantage at all in this battle. His attacks will be hidden by the other party. The same is true for flying squirrels. White doesn't seem to be so good at fighting, so when fighting with flying squirrels, he always avoids and almost never actively attacks. And Ferks, who shot Rist down, fell into a burst of laughter. Ha 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 ha, is this Marine Rear Admiral? It's really rubbish, ha 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 ha. These ridicules were undoubtedly addressed to Lister. It seems I was really underestimated by you. The extremely flat voice rang in Folks' ears. This time, Folks' smile disappeared completely, and the smile on his face was hardened. To be honest, I am also very good at speed. One sword flow, half a month cut. Quote. I saw that Rist quickly waved his knife behind Folks, and the trajectory of the knife's wave was like a half moon in the eyes of everyone, although it was only a fleeting moment. Pouch. A stream of blood spurted out directly from Neflex's back, and in order to prevent the blood from splashing on his body, Rist quickly turned into a golden light and moved away from there. Damn it, UB asterisk 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 D, it hurts me so much. Ferks yelled, but this roar also made Rist discover one of Ferks' weakness, that is, the opponent's pain sensation seems to be extremely sensitive. That kind of attack is also painful for other Admiral-level powerhouses, but at most it will be done with a frown, and almost no one will make such a heart-piercing wailing. As for the other people on the battlefield, all those who heard the wailing sound trembled in their hearts, because this kind of voice was not like a voice that a normal person could appear at all. Advertisement. Marine, I must make you pay. I saw that there was a strong red light in Folks' eyes, and the blood flame on his body became thicker, and soon the whole body of Folks was wrapped. This also made it impossible for Riester outside to know what happened in the blood flame. He only knew that under the induction of his observation hockey, the vitality in the blood flame became stronger and stronger, which reminded Riester. Kaido's monster. Then, after about 30 seconds, the blood flame suddenly dissipated, revealing a birdman state very similar to the Kaido Dragonman state. I saw that Folks' height directly increased to about 3 meters, and all of his skin was covered with feathers. Only on his face, one could see a small piece of human skin. Behind him is also a pair of blood-red wings, and red flames are still wrapped around his feet. All this state made Rist feel a sense of danger, causing a chill in his heart. Marine, you should feel honored to force me out of this state. Although my state is not very stable, but fortunately, you will be the first to die in my state. People. Well, it's really good, but compared to Kaido's Dragon Man status, you are still far behind. What? UB asterisk 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 D Marine, I'm going to kill you. I saw that the feathers behind him flew out, forming a sharp sword directly in the hands of Volks. Moreover, his figure reached directly behind Lister in the next instant, but Lister also reacted in the next second, turning directly, and the two sharp swords directly collided together. With a sound of ping, sparks flew everywhere, and the power of the collision between the two weapons directly caused the clouds in the sky to disappear completely, and even the sky was already cracked. That red and black lightning is constantly venting from the place where two people collide. Yes, this is the collision between Conqueror's Hockey. As a big pirate who was entrenched in New World, how could FLKs not have Conqueror's Hockey? Unlike the golden hockey of Riester, the area covered by Conqueror's Hockey is completely red. How can it be? Folks was very surprised. The surprise was not that Lister had Conqueror's Hockey, but how Lister reacted to his speed. Do you think how you have lived with blindfolds over the past few years? This sentence gave Folks the answer, which already shows that Folks' observation hockey has reached a very terrifying point. Chapter 106. The collision of the two terrifying forces directly caused the surrounding environment to collapse, the rocks collapsed, and the houses shattered. There was nothing near the two of them, and everything was blown away, including people. Both their bodies are constantly venting their own Conqueror's Hockey. It seems that Marine should really take a shot against the Skybird pirates. Looking at the formation, it should be Folks who took the shot. The pirate regiments who fought on the island also noticed the changes in the environment in the sky. Even the sea level they are currently on is full of waves, waves after waves, and there is no ship at all. The method stayed steadily on the sea. But there is still someone in the group of Marines who can fight Folks to this point. Who is it? First, remember that Marine did not send Admiral out this time. A pirate captain said, "Who knows, but it is said that the highest officer of Marine's mission is the guy named Lister, the Marine who stationed at the Sabayati archipelago, so that New World has not injected fresh blood for more than a year. Is his strength so strong? Can he compete with Folks to such a level? Who knows this, but now it seems that the strength of this Riester has exceeded all of us's expectations." And on the battlefield, Folks saw Rist blocking his attack, his face suddenly became very hideous, the veins violently, his arms seemed to thicken, and the strength in his hands also increased. "Marine, today will be your death day next year." I saw that Folks suddenly flapped the wings behind him, and the force generated by the wings directly pushed Riester back, sliding back continuously, and was accompanied by the burning of red flames. Zone's devil fruit is really troublesome. The two are about the same in strength, but the wings behind Folks play a supporting role, which makes Rist feel very annoyed. One sword stream half moon aurora slash. Advertisement. Suddenly, Rist burst out of the strength of his whole body, and directly slashed down with the knife, and a crescent-shaped silver-white sword energy flew out directly, and the sword energy tens of meters high appeared, even if it was Folks here. Dao Jian-Chi also seemed very small in front of him. Fortunately, Folks' posture was both offensive and defensive. Although Folks was smashed several tens of meters away, he did not suffer much damage, but he looked a little embarrassed. Is it strong, Marine? Folks wiped the bloodline at the corner of his mouth. After all, was it the sword hero's slash? Even if it was blocked, it was impossible to be unharmed. But then, I'm going to be serious. Even though he was repelled, Folks still had a bloodthirsty expression on his face, as if he was indefatigable, as if he had put life and death away. Me too. I saw the two rushing towards each other at the same time. In an instant, a golden light and a red light collided together, and the other people couldn't see the movements of the two at all, but could only see the continuous collision of the two light spots. They can be seen almost everywhere on the ground, in the air, but wherever the two meet, there will be a scene of cracks in the ground and collapse of rocks. The battle between the two has almost stunned everyone present. The Skybird pirates did not expect that Marine would fight his captain to such a point, and those Marines were because of Lister's strength. Beyond their expectations. Although the two armies are still fighting, it is obvious that they no longer have the earnest energy just now, because they all know that there is no difference between them. It depends mainly on the victory of the two people. Riester won, then this battle, there is no doubt that Marine won. But if Folks wins, then those waiting for these Marines will definitely be a catastrophe. In fact, 1 hour of fighting time is not long for the world's top powerhouses like them, as some fighting lasts for 3 days and 3 nights, or even 10 days and 10 nights, there is no problem. Directly, Folks opened his wings directly, and the feathers that were knocked out by Rist grew back again, and seemed to have grown larger. The two wings opened, and they were 20 meters long. Advertisement. The same is true for me, pirate, one sword, Diablo, silence. Now Volks can be said to have been fighting in blood, and there is almost no place intact. It can be said that in this battle, the only thing that Folks has the upper hand is the improvement in physical strength and endurance brought to him by his zone devil fruit, but this is not infinite. After stopping, the two of them were not in good condition. The marine coat on Riester was already in tatters, and the sharp wounds left by the sharp weapon could be seen on his body, while Folks was worse than Riester. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The ability of sparkling fruit and the strength of a great swordsman, any one of them is enough to have a place in the world, not to mention the two in one Rist. This is the last resort, Marine, the flames burn the sky. Over time, there is no way to maintain this state. The two of them fought with such high intensity for about an hour, and finally stopped. In this battle, Rist has not used his full strength, at least he has not used the wood fruit, lion fruit, and the big Buddha fruit. If he uses these devil fruit abilities, even this Buddha, no matter how strong the strength of Urks was, it should have ended the battle by now. They all know that this battle may be over, and it is very likely that it will be a blow to end the battle. Riester also raised his sword, and the powerful armament hockey was all attached to the sword, giving people a sense of trepidation. The surrounding environment seemed to be darkened by the lifting of Riester's sword. But the key point is that two people will always use their full strength to shoot. Although it is only an hour, it is also a huge consumption for two people. Whether it is physical strength or endurance, it is a huge test for two people. Although Volks is fast, it is still not as good as sparkling fruit. Although Volks has a sharp sword composed of feathers, Rist is a great swordsman in swordsmanship. In the beginning, the noble Volks no longer existed, and now only a militant lunatic is in front of Rist. Both of them were panting violently, quickly regaining their strength. Chapter 107 Killing Ferks, Borg. I saw that Ferks spit out a thick flame, and then with the flapping of the wings on the two sides behind him, the range of the flame became larger and larger, and the temperature became higher and higher, and there was also the feathers of armament hockey are mixed from time to time, which makes Riester unable to evade elemental at all, and if Riester does leave here, then the flames will fall, and under this high temperature flame, both the people below and the house disappeared. He was using this method to force Riester to face the attack. This guy. At this time, everyone had stopped their hands. Whether it was Marine or the pirates of the Skybird pirates, they looked at the sea of fire in the sky with horror, even though they were still tens of meters away from their heads. But they felt that their hair seemed to be burning. That B*****************. D. The flying squirrel Rear Admiral gritted his teeth and said that Folk's move shows that he did not take the lives of these people in his eyes, and he also hated himself as a burden in this battle. He also didn't expect that the other party would use such a despicable means to get Riester to fight him head on. And the sword raised high there seemed to have sucked all the colors of the world. In the eyes of everyone, it seemed that only black could be seen, and even the sound could not be heard. Some people tried to speak, but they couldn't make any sound. Everyone felt a sensation of difficulty breathing at this moment. Die in the silence, folks. Only one voice of Riester could be heard at the scene. As Riester's wind yin fell, a huge black sword aura was directly slashed out. The sword aura was not very fast, slowly passing through the sea of fire. But when this sword gas passed by, the flames had news for no reason. At this time, Folk's eyes widened, and for the first time there was a look of horror in his expression. He wanted to move, but for some reason, his body seemed to be frozen, unable to move. I could only watch the black sword aura getting closer and closer to him, slowly engulfing his entire body. When he died, he didn't make any sound. This war is over. Advertisement. Even though Riester's words fell, the scene was still silent, because they were all stunned by Riester's last blow. That kind of move was the most powerful sword move they had ever seen in their lives. It is estimated that it is also a sword move that will never be forgotten in a lifetime. Afterwards, I don't know which Marine made a cheer. Suddenly, the whole cheers rang out on the battlefield. The expressions on all Marines' faces were very excited. Just now under that sea of fire, they were really excited. It's desperate. The cheers today are even more of a feeling of rejoicing after the disaster. This battle, our Marine has won. At this time, Marine seemed to have been beaten up, and the group of pirates was demoralized, and some even surrendered directly. What's the joke? How could the captain lose? You Marines must have used some kind of blindfold. Borg shouted angrily. He turned into a huge black bird and rushed towards Riester. Even Doberman didn't react, or he didn't expect that Borg would be in this way. At that time, he dared to make a move. If you don't believe it, then you can taste this blow again. It just so happens that there is still more energy left in the move just now. I saw that Riester swung the knife again. The move was exactly the same as the one just now, except that his momentum was far from that of that time. One sword flow, Diablo song death. Borg's brain, locked in by nirvana, instantly awoke, because he felt the crisis of death, which made his body involuntarily surging with a trace of chill, and this chill was like the chill of hell. Generally, he has to wake up. That idiot. White cursed secretly, he already knew that the Borg locked in that move was bound to die. Afterwards, White turned into a huge white dove and flew away from the island. Pirate, don't want to leave. In this battle, it can be said that Marine won a big victory. Marine generals hardly suffered any damage. Only the ordinary soldiers suffered some casualties, but overall it was good. Advertisement. Marine, do you have to kill them all? Riester's words can already be regarded as a naked threat. As long as I act, then you will undoubtedly die. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. The white feathers had been dyed red, but the pain on the wound only made him snorted, and he continued to fly towards the distance. Seeing that his attack was fruitless, the flying squirrel immediately followed the moonwalk to catch up, but moonwalk's speed was much slower than the flying speed of the white dove, and the distance between the two would only get farther and farther. White fell to the ground, transformed into a human form, raised his hands, and was handcuffed by Marine in seastone handcuffs under Riester's gaze. Hearing what Riester said, White's face showed a struggling expression, and finally a helpless smile appeared, as if relieved. The flying squirrel roared, and then directly cut out several flying slashes, but White couldn't avoid the attack behind him, letting the attack behind him hit him. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded on White's head, and White only saw a golden light flying by in front of him, and Riester had already appeared in front of him. Although they did not really defeat Whitenborg, they also helped List delay time and played an indelible role in this battle. Duberman and the Flying Squirrel also showed a smile on their faces. After this mission, the two of them were promoted to Vice Admiral. It can be said that they are close at hand. As long as they are on standby, they can be promoted almost at any time. The moment you became a pirate, you should have thought that there will be such a day, so are you planning to catch it weirdly, or do you intend to be killed by me after struggling a lot? Okay, I surrender. In White's eyes, he was about to fly out of the island, and there was hope of survival in his eyes. As long as he flew out of the island, he should be safe. White had no choice but to stop. He knew that facing Lister, he had no hope. From then on, the Skybird pirate group ceased to exist. The captain and the second in command were killed on the spot, and all the others were arrested by Marine, waiting for the trial of Impel Down. Did I let you go? Chapter 108 New World Sweep. Good job, Lister. This is Sengoku's evaluation of Riester after reporting to Sengoku. This mission can also be said to be a test given to him by Sengoku, to test whether Riester can become the pillar of Marine. Now it seems that Lister does have that strength. After the news of the demise of the Skybird pirate group was spread out, the whole world was shocked. All the pirate groups in New World fell into a complete shock. The Skybird pirate group can be said to be New World. The first echelon of the pirate group, but it was such a pirate group that fell into Marines' hands like this, and did not hold on for a day. This also made the main force of the Skybird pirate group. Riester once again walked into the field of vision of the various forces in New World, and was even hailed by some forces as Marine's 4th Admiral, and Marine is now most likely to become Admiral. People. However, Lister doesn't care about these titles. He doesn't have much interest. What he is looking for is not the position of Marine Admiral or the position of Marshal Marine. All he has to do is to protect the Marine in Zephyr's heart. Now Zephyr is the most important person to Riester, arguably a relative. Zephyr has always raised Riester as his son, and Riester has always treated Zephyr as his father. As long as Zephyr is still at Marine, then Lister will definitely be at Marine. As long as Zephyr is not disappointed with Marine, then Lister will naturally not be disappointed with Marine. To be honest, Riester came to this world without any big goals, nor did he have the ambition to change the world. He only hopes that he can have sufficient strength and then be able to live a stable life in this world. The expectations that he carried were nothing but Zephyr's expectations of him, and the hopes imposed on him by those Marine executives. The reason why he did this was just that he didn't want to embarrass Zephyr. Of course, what he did at Sabayati Archipelago is entirely Riester's own ideas. As a normal compulsory educated person, there is really no way to accept the slavery of this world. A person who had overflowed with love in a previous life, who knew that the other party was a liar and was voluntarily deceived, of course could not bear the pitiful and pleading and longing eyes of those slaves. After dealing with the Skybird pirates, Lister and the others left the island and did not accept the gifts of the people of this country, because they were not worthy of these benefits at all. This battle almost destroyed a small part of this country. Many people died in the battle between the two armies. Although this is an inevitable thing, Rist's heart is still very guilty. The guilt of the people of this country. As for the current situation of this country, the world government will send people over to resettle it. Even though the royal family of this country is dead, there will soon be a new royal family to replace it. Advertisement. However, Sengoku did not let them return to naval headquarters so soon, but let them sweep the New World. One is to accumulate some record and some prestige for Lister, and the other is that the pirates of New World are indeed too rampant. It's time to teach them a long lesson. Although they have no way for Marine to stretch their hands too long in New World, it is also to remind Marine. Don't think that in New World, you can do whatever you want. Under the leadership of Lister, their group of people has indeed produced a very significant effect in New World, which has caused many pirates in New World to become much more honest recently. It seems that the leader of this fleet is not a rear admiral, but an admiral. At this time, both Flying Squirrels and Doberman had great respect for Lister. After all, Lister had that strength, and had the strength that was worthy of their respect. They knew that if Lister became admiral, there would definitely be a group of people in Marine who would follow him loyally. Of course, not all pirates in New World have become very honest. There will still be pirates who are not afraid of death, who want to come and touch the Marine, try to see how many caddies they have. But it's okay if it doesn't touch it. When it touches it, it's better to be sent to the prison of the warship, and almost buried directly in the sea. Maybe it becomes the ration of a certain sea kings. Now the Marine prison in their warship is overcrowded and can't fit it anymore, so they have decided to return. But when they were about to leave New World, they encountered a pirate group. Reporter sir, a group of pirates appeared in front. The observer quickly ran to Lister and said, a pirate ship appears here, is it waiting for us on purpose? Riester thought in his heart. Rist asked, it would definitely not be the ordinary pirate group who dared to wait for them at the exit. Riester still remembers his defeat against Kaido, and if Zephyr hadn't arrived in time, maybe he would have died by now. Advertisement. A man with a sturdy body, half of his face covered with a thick beard, said, he looked silly, but anyone who underestimated him because of his silly face would be very wrong. Let's get closer. I want to see, now is there any pirate group that is so bold and dare to be on our only way? Zone. It really fits Kaido's style. Yes, Captain. What pirate group is standing in front of them now, and they won't panic in their hearts? Beasts pirates. I haven't taken the initiative to find them yet, but they came to the door obediently. Flying Squirrel and Doberman are now very assured of their safety. As long as they don't meet Whitebeard pirates, Beasts pirates or Ant pirates, they have full confidence in Rist's strength. We just joined Beasts pirates. We must cut off this marine's head and give it to Kaido boss as a meeting gift. Have it finally appeared. Lousy has waited for so long, and it is not in vain. Did you see which pirate group it was? Captain, the marine group has appeared. And when Marine found them, they naturally found Riester and them. Finally, the three warships slowly approached the pirate ship, and the observer on the warship finally saw the flag under the pirate flag of all beasts. Reporting, sir. The other party is flying the Beasts Pirates banner, but it looks like it should be an affiliated pirate group of Beasts Pirates. Sir, that is the Blood Tiger Pirates. It is rumored that its captain is a Zone Demon Fruit Power with a reward of 550 million Baileys, but it seems that he has joined Beasts Pirates. Chapter 109. If only the pirates are so stupid. After going out to sea for so many years, Demon Fruit Power also encountered those few, but none of Logia encountered one, Paramesha encountered a few, and all the others were Zone, as if Zone's Devil Fruit was rotten on the street. Not rare. Devil Fruit has the most powerful Paramesha Fruit, Shock Fruit, and the most powerful Logia Fruit, Dark Fruit, but I haven't heard of the most powerful among Zone Devil Fruit. But I have to say that Zone's Devil Fruit has a lot of branches, common species, ancient species and Eudemon species, and there are many classifications of human fruits in Eudemon species. The form of Buddha-like Sengoku is just one of them. Maybe there are other forms of fruits for everyone. The 550 million captain of the pirate group opposite, to be honest, there is no need for Rist to take action personally. Either a Flying Squirrel or Doberman can defeat him. If it is impossible, two people can also take action at the same time. Can. But as the saying goes, the king is against the king, and will be against the generals. Facing the captain of the opposing pirate group, Rist should take action personally. Of course, this is not for the purpose of respecting the opposing party. The pirate does not need respect. He is just now. I want to end this battle quickly and leave New World. The weather in the ghost place of New World, Riester really had enough. He felt that the most frequent shots were not against the pirates, but against the harsh environment of New World. He really didn't know how the big pirates entrenched in New World survived in such a ghostly place. Isn't it bad to get out of the sun? They have to live in violent storms. Of course, this is just complaining about Rist's bad luck. Most of the pirates living in New World are all entrenched in their own strongholds, and the islands chosen as strongholds are naturally good islands, the kind that is sunny every day. However, Riester has been driving on the sea for a while in New World, so it is normal to encounter bad weather. Hey, you Marines, listen to this uncle, and honestly give your heads, this uncle can still go around you. When the two armies approached, all Marines heard a very rough voice coming from the opposite side. All Marine couldn't help but turn black. He felt that they were not facing a big pirate with a reward of 550 million yuan, but a big fool. Is it possible to give his head? Are you sure that the opposite is a pirate, not a mentally retarded? List asked Bruce. Reporter, I am not very sure now. Bruce smiled patiently and said, he really didn't expect their opponent this time to be such a secondhand, but they were professionally trained and wouldn't laugh unless they couldn't help it. If the sea is so big, there are all kinds of strange things. Advertisement. The crew of the pirate group on the opposite side seemed calmer. Obviously, this was not the first time they encountered this situation. Quick fight. Don't leave a living, we have no place to put the prison. Understood, sir. I have to say that their luck is really bad. In order to please the beast Kaido, now they have to fight for their lives. Rist did not talk nonsense with them, but directly launched a shelling. The three warships fired together, and about 20 shells flew toward each other together. Of course, most of the shells were not very accurate, and they fell into the sea around the pirate regiment, and there were some. Several were shot down by the pirate ship when they were about to hit the pirate ship. This shows that there are still a few capable people on that ship. Being able to shoot down a cannonball is not a measure of a person's strength, but if there is no way to stop the cannonball, then it is nothing more than cannon fodder. My dear Captain, these Marines do not speak martial arts, so they directly fired at us. The shells fell on the sea around the pirate ship and exploded, directly blowing up the pirate ship. Most of the crew rolled back and forth on the pirate ship, as long as a few could stabilize their body. But they seem to have forgotten that they are pirates. Do Marine and pirates still need to talk about martial arts? These assholes Marine. Needham held the hat on top of his head that had been skewed just now because of the outbreak, and said with an angry face. Needham is the captain of this pirate group, but the second one who shouted to Marine just now. Fire! Fire me! Lousy is going to kill these Marines, shit, dare to make a sneak attack. However, a pirate ship ran head to head with three warships. What a stupid man can do such a thing? It would be a bargain to win a pirate with a captain of 550 million without any casualties, but it was clear that some people did not have Riester's idea. Advertisement. It would be nice if all the pirates were as stupid as the other party. Who knows, maybe you want to end the battle quickly. This question, just think about it. Bruce asked in disbelief when he saw the warship next to him sail straight out. Bruce sighed. After staying in New World for so long, he has seen with his own eyes how cunning and insidious the pirates of New World are. They are not on the same level as the pirates in the first half. Originally, Riester's idea was to wait for Marine's shells to sink the opponent directly. Although some shells would be wasted, the most indispensable thing in Marine was weapons and ammunition. Rist did not give an order to stand on the spot and shelling, so Doberman took the initiative to attack, and it was not a disobedience to the order. I hope so, Lister said indifferently. Seeing the act of firing guns at his own warship, Lister now doubts how they came to New World with their IQ. The normal pirate regiment encountered Marines shelling, either running or fighting head-on. No pirate ship dared to stand still with the warship. That is, Doberman Rear Admiral's warship. What is he going to do? Riester is not surprised to join Beast's pirates. After all, Kaido is not a guy with a high IQ. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Sir, it seems that this time we should be able to take down the opponent without a single pawn. I saw that a warship rushed in the direction of the pirate ship. Bruce stood beside Lister and said that his purpose of standing here is to protect Lister's safety. Of course, to protect Lister is just to deal with some attacks that Lister is too lazy to deal with. Chapter 110 Devil Fruit Fit. Seeing a warship approaching in their direction, these pirates were also very happy. Under those rounds of shelling just now, their pirate ship could not last long. If it is shelled again, their pirate ship will sink in the sea. But now there is a warship taking the initiative to attack, which shows that the other two warships have to give up the idea of shelling, otherwise, it is very likely that the warship will be injured by mistake. Sir, what should we do now? Bruce asked, but to be honest, he was still a little puzzled by Doberman's approach. Tell the flying squirrel to surround the pirate ship from the right side to prevent the pirate ship from escaping. Yes, sir. After receiving Riester's order, the flying squirrels rushed in from another direction. The warships led by Riester also assaulted from the left. He already understood Doberman's idea. Since he wanted this military service, give it to him. It's over. Lister's accumulated military merits are not bad anymore. Just 1 FLKs can make Lister's military rank even further. After all, even the General Vice Admiral can't solve FLKs. The Pirate of the Sea. Soon, the pirate ship was caught in the middle by 3 warships. Ha ha ha, Marine, I didn't expect that you guys would be snatched by yourself. Brothers, get on me and screw up these Marine heads for lousy. The beard-faced Needham pulled out the knife from his waist and pointed at the warship in the middle, saying that he doesn't know how to use a knife, it's more of an ornament. However, they do not need to take the initiative to attack. The Marines on the Doberman warship have already waited on the pirate ship. After all, if there is a battle on the warship, it will inevitably cause certain damage to the warship, and the cost of repairing the warship is not cheap. You lead a team of soldiers to help Vice Admiral Doberman, and try to minimize the loss. Yes, sir. Afterwards, Bruce led a small team of Marine directly to the pirate ship. The flying squirrel also had the same deployment, and he did not take the initiative to attack. Bruce's current strength already has Rear Admiral's strength, and it is completely enough except for the other people who deal with Needham's accident. Doberman boarded the warship and immediately rushed towards Needham. Marine 6 styles shaved and matched the swordsmanship, and reached the front of Needham in an instant, and the knife in his hand slashed in front of Needham. However, beyond Doberman's expectation, Needham turned his hands into tiger claws and protected him directly in front of his head, blocking Doberman's attack. Advertisement. Oh roar. Interesting. Riester, who had been sensing the battlefield, showed a smile on his face. The attack speed of Doberman just now can only be reflected by those who are determined to observation hockey, but the Needham did not use observation hockey, and the reason why he was able to respond to Doberman's attack is completely relying on one's own instinct. I saw that as soon as Needham turned around, the knife in Doberman's hand was also forced to change its direction, and then Doberman was knocked into the air by one blow. This guy is so insidious. This was the thought in Doberman's mind when he flew out, because he saw that it was a tail that knocked him off. The tail attached to armament hockey swayed in midair, as if it was a mockery of Doberman. Damn it! Doberman exclaimed angrily, he couldn't wait to smash this stupid tiger to pieces. When Doberman came back to his senses, Needham's figure had changed drastically, his body was covered with red fluff, and the clothes he was wearing had exploded directly, and the whole person looked majestic and majestic. Even his stupid face now looks a bit more ferocious. Orc form is almost the most powerful form of Zone Demon Fruit power. Most Zone Demon Fruit power takes Orc form as their final form. For example, Kaido's Dragonman form, and Fulks's Birdman form. However, Needham, who had become an Orc, seemed to have lost his mind, and his pupils had become beast pupils, and they were emitting an unknown red light. When his eyes were on Doberman's body, Doberman suddenly felt as if he was being stared at by a beast. It was obviously an ordinary Zone Devil Fruit, but Doberman felt like he was facing it as an ancient species in general. I didn't expect this idiot to fit Devil Fruit so well. Lister's heart is rather surprised, and Devil Fruits fit with people is something that Lister has only recently learned about. Just like the fit between Shockfruit and Whitebeard, Shockfruit was not very good before, and it can even be said to be an unknown Devil Fruit, because most people who took Shockfruit before were killed by the side effects of Devil Fruit's ability. of advertisement. But this fruit reached the hands of Whitebeard, but it achieved the title of the strongest man in Whitebeard's world, and the ability of shock fruit has also become the ability to destroy the world. This is a manifestation of the high degree of compatibility between devil fruit and people, and the two sides have achieved each other's achievements. Rist discovered that when Needham transformed into an orc form, it seemed that it was not himself who controlled his body, but the devil inside devil fruit. It seems that Doberman may not be the opponent's opponent. Doberman's current strength is at best just having the strength of Vice Admiral, but if this pirate is divided according to Marine's military rank, he definitely has the strength of an elite Vice Admiral. Riester is ready to take action at any time. As long as Doberman is in danger, Riester will instantly take action to solve the opponent. In the orc form, Needham's speed and strength have been doubled. Before Doberman could react, Needham's body had reached Doberman's front in an instant. This speed is faster than shaving. I saw that Needham's left and right hands were scratched on Doberman's body. Iron body. Doberman's reaction speed was not slow, and he immediately used iron body to make a defense. Since Needham did not use armament hockey, Doberman did not need armament hockey for defense. Needham's claws collided with Doberman's body and sparked sparks. Fortunately, under the attack of this intensity, Doberman was not injured, but was forced to retreat a few steps. This B****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** just now, he still had to explain the opponent's powerful strength. An unknown pirate has such a powerful strength. This made Doberman plunged into deep doubts about his own strength. Among them, Needham is really an outlier among the pirates. With his strength, the 550 million bounty is not worthy of him. At least 200 million should be added. Chapter 111. Although Doberman used the skill of Marine 6 styles to play back and forth with Needham, Doberman has been suppressed all the time. The power erupted from the legs of Needham in the orc form is much faster than the shave in Marine 6 styles, and Doberman is also not better than Needham. Seeing Doberman's defeat is not far away. The flying squirrel on the other warship is also ready to take action at any time. As long as there is something wrong, the flying squirrel will immediately take action to rescue Doberman. Soon, within a few tricks, Doberman was already vomiting blood by Needham. Even though Doberman was able to defend himself against Needham's attack, even under the dual protection of iron body and armament hockey, there is no way to stop Needham's attack. In the battle, the madness of the battle, the more courageous the battle, the more passionate the battle, the stronger the battle strength. Now that Doberman has been losing steadily, it can be said that there is no possibility of winning. This guy is a monster. Doberman looked solemnly at Needham, who continued to attack him. It was good for him to be able to block now, and he no longer had the strength to counterattack. However, contrary to Doberman's battle, the Marines had the upper hand in the battles of others. The crew of Needham were all rubbish. Facing the forces of this group of Marines, there was no resistance at all. Especially after Bruce led the soldiers on the Riester warship into the battlefield, the pirates were almost suppressed with the momentum of thunder. With Doberman already wounded, the two fought again about 100 moves. It has to be said that although Doberman's strength is not very good, his willpower is very strong, and he can often avoid fatal attacks. But no matter how tenacious willpower, the more and more injuries on his body condition is getting more and more exhausted. At this time Doberman is already half kneeling on the ground, supporting his body with a sword, and supporting his body. Don't let him fall. But he was already powerless to resist. Ha ha ha, go to hell, Marine. I can only watch as Needham's attack is getting closer and closer to him. Damn it. The flying squirrel wanted to step forward to support, but he was too fast at all. When he arrived, it was estimated that Doberman had a hole in his head. Advertisement. Suddenly, a figure appeared directly between Doberman and Needham. Doberman didn't have the slightest surprise for the people coming. On the contrary, Needham saw someone interrupting his fight, and the expression on his face became more and more serious. It's getting more and more ferocious. Damn it, another B************ D Marine. Needham gritted his teeth and said, the speed hasn't slowed down at all, it has even accelerated a lot. If you can't even solve this kind of stuff, Master, you should be disappointed. Rist's words were naturally addressed to Doberman. Of course, these words weren't meant to laugh at him, they were words of encouragement. I'm sorry for Teacher Zephyr's teaching. Doberman said with a frustrated expression. Like dealing with this kind of irrational species that only relies on instincts, just aim at the timing and hit it deadly. After Needham's attack, Rist had evaded slightly on one side of his head, and his fist had reached Needham's abdomen. Armament hockey wrapped around the fist hill, making his fists look dark. Very bright, black. Benquan. As Rist's voice fell, a burst of energy erupted directly from Needham's back, and the whole person flew directly behind, flew directly from the bow to the stern, and smashed the wall of the ship, and fell directly into it. Into the sea. With one punch, Riester eliminated the opponent who had put Doberman into a hard fight. Of course, this requires strong power and a very skilled observation hockey to do it. Benquan is the technique of hitting the whole body strength in the fist, and then bursting out in an instant. With Riester's current physical quality, a full-strength punch is not to be underestimated, not to mention the Needham, even Garp it is impossible for him to be all right after receiving this punch from him. The battle also ended with Rist's punch. After seeing this punch, the pirates who had planned to fight to the death also calmed down, for fear that the next one to bear the punch was himself. If they did not resist, Marine was unable to kill them, which meant that their marine prison was again crowded a bit. The place was not big enough, and now it is overcrowded. Thanks a lot. Advertisement. Daubman thanked Lister, and if Lister hadn't taken the shot in time, maybe he would have died now. No, since I am the top commander of this mission, I have an obligation to protect the safety of everyone under you, including you. Rist didn't have any feeling about saving Doberman, because this was what he should have done. If Admiral's position is 4 people, then it will be you who can take over the 4th Admiral. At this time, the flying squirrels also came over and said, along the way, they have seen Riester explode too much strength, an ability not weaker than Kazaru Admiral Sparkling Fruit, a great swordsman's swordsmanship, and conjoined swordsmanship. They are also very good, the true biography of the deep Teacher Zephyr. Both Flying Squirrel and Doberman were students of Teacher Zephyr, so when they saw Rist using physical skills, they thought it was Teacher Zephyr who appeared in front of them. Forget it, I have no interest in the position of Admiral. Riester said. In fact, Admiral is not bad, but the only thing that Riester doesn't like is that Celestial Dragons is on call. He has never seen Celestial Dragons after coming to Pirate World from Riester for so long. I didn't even look at it from a distance. I don't know why. When I think of the Celestial Dragons being the top nobles in the world, Lister feels very disgusting. He obviously has no ability, saying it is a waste. I praised them. If there is no such thing, Lister still likes to be Admiral. After all, Admiral is called Admiral, Lister still feels very handsome. Go back, I've been here long enough, otherwise, more and more guests will see us off soon. Yes, list Rear Admiral. After some tedious procedures, the warship re-boarded Mariajoy and returned to the Grand Line. Sir, shall we return to Naval Headquarters now? Bruce asked. No, first go to Sabayati Archipelago to see what the current Sabayati Archipelago is like. Yes, sir. Chapter 112. Returning to Sabayati Land. Lister led his warship towards the Sabayati Archipelago. The pirates in the prison were also assigned to 2 other warships. They were going to send these pirates to the great undersea prison Impel Down. Rist is not interested in that place. Although he is still curious, it is not the time to go to that place. He still has an interested person in there, the one who once captured him as a slave. He doesn't know. I didn't die in Impel Down. When Rist's warship was about to reach Sabayati Archipelago, he found some pirate ships near Sabayati Archipelago. He didn't expect that he had only left Sabayati Archipelago for a few months, and Sabayati Archipelago turned back again. As it is. Of course, a few pirate ships found them, but they didn't care. On the Sabayati Archipelago, the nobles met a lot, not to mention Marine, and they also felt that these Marines would not attack them. Sir, what about these pirates? Bruce's face is also very ugly. After all, he is watching Sabayati Archipelago getting better and better under Rist's hands, but now this new base chief has only taken over for as long as he has been. Became this look. The captains of these pirate groups, how much are the bounty? Sir, I'll check it out right away. However, the warship also continued to drive in the direction of Sabayati Archipelago. The group of pirates saw the warship and moved away involuntarily. Although they were not afraid of Marine, they were after all pirates and Marine. A frontal collision is not very good after all. Originally, this group of Marines might not have attempted to attack them, but a pirate ship constantly swayed in front of Marine. Maybe it would be regarded as a provocation to Marine. At that time, Marine's attack would not be worth the gain. Report, sir, the bounty of these pirates is not very high, generally around 80 million. 80 million. That is considered to be a pirate with serious sins. It is their bad luck to fire on these pirate ships and encounter us. Yes, sir. After speaking, Bruce ordered to run towards the pirate ship nearest to them, and a row of shells flew straight to the pirate ship on the opposite side. Damn, these Marines are sick, why are you mad? The captain of the pirate ship that was attacked scolded. Captain, what shall we do now? A pirate asked in a panic. What do you mean? We were all knocked on the door, and of course we have to go back, otherwise, how do our colleagues look at us? Shoot me and sink the ship. Grandma, dare to bully your grandpa on my head. Quote. The other pirate boats that are far away have also slowed down, intending to see the excitement here. Captain, that warship is so powerful, it dares to attack our pirates here. Who do they think they are? Marine Admiral. Advertisement. A pirate ship onlookers, one of the pirates is holding a telescope to observe the situation on the warship. What is the chief who leads that warship? Yeah, he has black hair and a blindfold. His face looks cold, but he looks a little handsome, but he is still not as handsome as I am. The pirate observed Lister with a telescope, and then described Lister's appearance. But in the end, he discovered that Rist had actually shifted his head partly, his eyes seemed to be watching them in this direction. Black hair, with a blindfold. As for the description of being more handsome than his own, he simply ignored this sentence. Let me see. Afterwards, the captain seemed to have remembered something, and he grabbed the binoculars from his little brother. After taking a look at it, his body suddenly froze, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. After that, his body was also covered, shaking constantly. Captain, what's the matter with you? Seeing what his captain looked like, the pirate immediately asked with concern. Run, run quickly, and tell the helmsman to stay away from this place at the fastest speed. You can run as far as you can. What's the matter, Captain? The pirate asked again without knowing why. Don't ask, act quickly, or we will all die here in a while. Yes, Captain. Seeing his captain said this, the pirate also realized the seriousness of the matter, and immediately gave the captain's order to order. I didn't expect the evil star to return to Sabayati Archipelago, and I don't know what his purpose is for returning here this time. The captain of the pirate thought with a look of horror that he recognized Riester. By chance, he had been to the Killers Guild, so he had seen Riester's wanted order. The picture on the wanted order was exactly the same as himself. I knew I would go to New World one day earlier. His heart was remorseful, and he was now afraid that Rist would be stationed in Sabayati Archipelago again. In this way, his dream of going to the New World would be completely frustrated, and the treasure of One Piece would be completely missed from him. Reporter sir, a warship has appeared off the island and is attacking the pirates around Sabayati Archipelago. Advertisement. At this time, the base chief in the marine base of Sabayati Archipelago also got the news. Marine. Did any of us attack? No, not ours. The messenger said. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, send someone to the port to meet him. This shows that the hands-on marine didn't pay him attention at all. Hearing that they weren't theirs, the base chief frowned and felt very upset. If a marine wants to do something on a territory that does not belong to him, he must obtain the consent of the local marine base chief. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Who is that, so unruly, dare to do something on my territory? The current head of the base is pacing back and forth in the office, mumbling constantly. Hearing this, he immediately jumped up from the chair, his expression full of weirdness and horror. It seems to be the previous head of Sabayati Archipelago. It's over, what can I do then? You know, in order to be able to come here to serve at the beginning, but he dragged a lot of relationships, you know, here is the biggest oil and water. What? I don't know this, but should we go to the port to meet him now? Are you sure? Did you read it right? Wait, I'll go with you. If he knew that I made Sabayati Archipelago like this, would he kill me? He was really scared in his heart. Although he had only been in contact with Rist once, Rist left a deep impression in his heart. The bitter chill was still unforgettable. It shouldn't be wrong. Chapter 113 Fistbone Meteorite, Volley Shot. When these marines came to the port, they happened to see a pirate ship and a warship being shelled. When the base commander took out a binoculars from his subordinates to take a look, he was suddenly scared and sweating. That's right, it was that person. He looked up from a distance now, and he felt his whole body trembling, and felt that his life would be unsafe for the next second. The other forces living in the Sabayati Archipelago also received the news of Riester's return. Those slave human trafficking organizations immediately hid their slaves tightly, and even the ongoing auctions were forced to terminate. The number one area of Sabayati Archipelago, the largest population auction did not end. Because there are some of the most respected guests in the world, and that is celestial dragons. Not to mention that he was afraid that Riester would come to investigate them. Even if they came, they would not dare to blast away these celestial dragons. Isn't that too long for his life, and he believed that Riester did not dare to mess around. After all, there are celestial dragons here. It is the existence of a marine admiral that can order marine admiral, just relying on a marine rear admiral in Listna, in front of celestial dragons, it is estimated that they are not even qualified to raise their heads. This is also the fact that they are still emboldened at the auction. It seems that during this time, New World has flooded with a lot of pirates. Now, there are no fewer than 10 pirate groups here. One can imagine how many pirate groups who once lived in the Grand Line entered the New World in this month. As for the shelling has stopped, the group of pirates on the opposite side is really not good. Even if the shells are about to hit their warships, Bruce will stop them, and although the other party has people who can block the shells, they can stop one. It does not mean that you can block 10. You know, warships do not fire one by one, but a dozen or so of them in one round. The pirate ship was in the gunfire of the warship, slowly in the sight of everyone, immersed in the sea. Really, who led the warship? The artillery fire is so fierce. The other pirates who watched the battle were stunned. They didn't have seen a warship, but it was the first time they had seen a warship with such fierce gunfire. After all, this warship of Riester, is it a warship that can travel in the extremely harsh environment of New World? Of course, the configuration is incomparable with ordinary warships. Sir, what about the other pirates? At our current speed, we have not eliminated all these pirates at all. Advertisement. Bring me a box of shells. I'm going to warm up too. Yes, sir. Hearing what Riester said, Bruce's eyes lit up. He knew what Riester was going to do. Every time he saw that Riester was able to throw a cannonball with his hand, he felt a little weird, but it actually happened. Before his eyes. It is said that the last person to do this was Garp Vice Admiral, but he has never seen it. Bruce has used this trick several times in the New World watching Rist, but every time he never gets tired of it, he feels that it is particularly spectacular. Although it is not so gorgeous, it is simple and rude to be a man's romance. Soon, 2 boxes of shells were staggered by marine below. Riester shook his body, and the marine coat he was wearing was directly shaken by Riester and left on overtime work. Afterwards, he picked up a cannonball and let out a sigh of relief. Fistbone meteorite. Following Riester's shout, the shell was thrown directly, and the next second it exploded directly on a pirate ship. The pirates on the pirate ship hadn't realized how they responded. What happened? The second explosion also sounded. I'll go. This is fake. Is that guy still a human? Those pirates who were observing the warship all noticed Riester's movements, and said with an unbelievable expression, throwing cannonballs with their hands, it was the first time they saw them. And the speed of throwing cannonballs by hand is much faster than the speed of shooting with a barrel. I saw the cannonball flew out of Rist's hand, and then with a "sue" sound, the mast of a pirate ship was directly blown off. But the first time I used my foot, the strength was not as good as the master. The pirate ship that did not hit the target hit a pirate ship farther away. I have to say that the luck of the pirates was really bad. Because the speed of the shells is too fast, this also causes the forward force of the shells to increase. It is many times more difficult to stop such shells than to stop ordinary shells. Advertisement. However, as soon as one of the pirates on their ship said the words, their deck exploded, directly blowing several pirates into the sea. This saves a lot of time compared to firing shells from the gun barrel of a warship just now, and Riester's fist meteorite can aim more accurately than the fist meteorite used by Garp. Volley shot. It seems that the target of that group of Marines is not us. Does he really want to return to Skybird archipelago? But I haven't heard from him either. Even if it was someone who could block the shells, they were a little helpless in the face of Riester's fistbone meteorite. I saw that Riester threw the cannonball into the sky, and when the cannonball fell, Riester kicked it out directly. This also shocked the Marine on the warship. They thought that Riester to self-mutilate. Riester looked around for a while and saw Riester's actions. The pirate ships that were still traveling slowly to the distance accelerated in an instant. They were still watching the excitement here, but now they have become the excitement and let others look. The pirates who were not hit were relieved. They only heard a "sue" on the top of their heads, as if something flew directly over their heads, and then, in front of them. The pirate ship exploded. Let me see, who is next? Soon, Riester found the next target, smiled slightly, as if he had come up with a good idea. Damn, crow's mouth. Even the current base chief of Skybird archipelago was deeply confused by Riester's current behavior. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. With only 3 shells, the pirate ship was completely sunk by Rist, and along with the raging fire, thick black smoke was immersed in the sea. The ports in Skybird archipelago have long been full of people. They applauded Riester's behavior. Of course, some people recognized Riester and warmly welcomed Riester to return to work at Skybird archipelago. Chapter 114. Didn't I come at the wrong time? Fistbone meteorite, volleyed shot, upside down golden hook, all the pirate group that Riester was looking at, none of them could escape the cannonballs in his hands or feet, even if they were beyond the range of the artillery, but they did not escape Rist. The special range, wherever Rist observation hockey can reach, are all within his range. Soon, the fire was flooding the sky around the warship, and all these fires were the burning of the pirate ships because of the shells. Everyone once again felt amazed by the strength of Riester. Those pirates seemed to have no power to fight back in Liester's hands, and were sunk casually. Although Liester's record in New World has been informed by some sensitive people, most people or Rist's whereabouts during this month is still unknown. Sir, shall we land on the island? Bruce asked Liester. Rist was only facing the direction of Skybird archipelago, and soon, his observation hockey locked one person, who was the new base chief of Skybird archipelago. Suddenly, the base commander felt as if he was being stared at by something, and his spirit seemed to be under tremendous pressure. It was obvious that the base commander was not weak in strength, and he also had the strength of Marine Rear Admiral. However, he may have done too much at a loss, so when he encountered the mental oppression that Riester had shown him again, he rolled his eyes and fainted. No, just go back to naval headquarters, this is no longer our site. Yes, sir. Seeing Riester's warship slowly leaving, some civilians on the island all showed a disappointed expression, while the expressions on the faces of those underground forces could not help but a little bit of joy. They are still thinking about what they should do if Riester is appointed by Skybird archipelago again. Now it seems that they are thinking too much. Skybird archipelago is very close to naval headquarters. It took almost an hour for Riester's warship to reach naval headquarters. Every time I saw the Gate of Justice in front of naval headquarters, Riester would be amazed. It's not something that humans can do. Rist believes that even the B************* D Garp can't lift up a door of justice. This shows how deep the whole cards are in the construction of these world governments. When the Gate of Justice slowly opened a gap, Liester's warships had already moved in, and the Marines in those ports had already been waiting there, waiting for Liester's return. Advertisement. Welcome home, Liest Rear Admiral. When Liester just stepped off the warship, there was a Colonel Marine who came up, respecting the military salute, and said to Liester attackingly, his eyes full of admiration. Although this Colonel Marine is much older than Riester, Riester's abilities are much stronger than him, and Marine has made much more contributions to the people than him, so he is still very respectful of Riester. Respect, and his child was once a student of Liester. Although it is only a normal class, he has also been taught by Riester for several lessons. Well, it's hard for you with the warship business. It's not hard, it's not hard. The maintenance of warships is the job of our logistics department, and it is what we should do. In terms of the degree of hard work, it is naturally inferior to you who are fighting on the front line. When Riester told him about his hard work, he immediately felt flattered. You know, no one had ever told him about hard work before. Although the position of their logistics department in Marine is very important, some Marines who are struggling in the front line obviously look down on these people in their logistics department, because they think these people in the logistics department are just sheltered by them, but they are in Marine. People who have no use. But Riester doesn't think so. In case one of them is unhappy, and if they move their hands and feet on the warship, then the warship will malfunction on the sea, and it may not even die by then. Knowledge. Don't think that the people in the logistics department can't do such a thing, they are bold. Afterwards, Rist didn't talk to him, he had to go to Sengoku to report on the mission. If it weren't for the flying squirrels and Doberman, Rist wanted to give them this task. But when Riester walked into Sengoku's office, there was not only Marshal Sengoku but also 3 Admiral Sakazuki, Kizaru and Kuzan. Marshal and Admiral were all gathered here. This was the first time Riester saw him. When Riester opened the door, all the eyes of the 4 people were immediately attracted to him, and the expressions on each person's face were different. Good job. Judging from your record, it's enough to raise your rank to Vice Admiral. Yes, Marshal. After all, this should be regarded as the biggest Sengoku their Marine has achieved in New World. Advertisement. Okay, don't be fooled, let's report on your situation in New World. Hearing Riester's report, Kizaru's face was calm, because he knew what Riester's strength was. Although Sengoku already knew what Riester did in New World, when he personally heard the information from Riester's mouth, Sengoku couldn't help but feel a little delighted. Afterwards, Riester walked up to Sengoku with a serious face, and said all about the battle situation in New World. Rist said in a low voice, this is either Admiral or the Marshal. It's not good for him to participate in a little Rear Admiral. Kizaru's expression was a little surprised, Kuzan's expression was a little curious, Sakazuki's face was a little calm, but there was a hint of approval in his eyes towards Rist. When the next awarding ceremony, there will be your name, so go and rest first. Quote. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. After speaking, Riester planned to retire. But Kuzan's face was a little surprised. He only had a relationship with Riester, but he didn't expect Riester to be so powerful, and even he felt very tricky. As for Akainu, he still has that expressionless look, holding his arms and lowering his head, making it impossible to see what he is thinking. Yes, Marshal, otherwise I will come back later, you guys will be busy. In this operation, Riester eliminated a total of 12 pirate groups in New World. Among them, the captain of the pirate group who offered a bounty of more than 1 billion was the only one from the Skybird pirate group, and most of the other bounties were around 7 or 8 billion. Am I here at the wrong time? Chapter 115 Murphy's Law. Riester's strength is terrifying again, it's really terrifying. Kizaru clasped his nails and said, the moment Riester walked in, they even felt that someone wanted to launch an attack on naval headquarters. After all, after dealing with so many pirates in New World, there was still a strong evil spirit on him. Disappear. As that teacher Zephyr's disciple. This was what Aokiji said, and his eyes became more and more serious. And hearing Aokiji say this, Akainu's eyes showed a strange color for the first time. A disciple of Zephyr. He repeated what Aokiji had just said. Tisk tusk, it's really a big scene. The 3 Admiral and the Marshal are all gathered together. At first glance, it's a troublesome thing. I'd better not get involved. Rist, who had left the Marshal's office, slapped his mouth and said, although he didn't know what happened to them getting together, it was definitely not a good thing, and it must be a particularly troublesome thing. He has just returned from a mission now, but he doesn't want to go out again. He has to rest for a while at naval headquarters and live a life of eating salted fish and waiting to die. But I really miss Makino a bit, and I don't know what Makino is doing now. Marine passing by looked at the corners of Riester's slightly raised mouth and knew that Riester was in a good mood. They also now know what Riester did in New World. When all Marine walks by Riester, they will respectfully greet him, as if Riester is not a Rear Admiral, but a Marine. Admiral. With an inexplicable little tune in his mouth, Riester has already arrived at the Marine Academy. At any time, the Marine Academy is a scene of enthusiasm and vigor. The arrival of Riester naturally attracted the attention of many people. Although many of them have seen Riester many times, every time they meet, Riester will do some amazing things and give them great the shock. I'm back, Master. Zephyr was rarely busy today, sitting in the office, drinking tea leisurely. I see, now it's your appearance, which can make the little guys outside talk a lot. Even Sengoku may not be treated like you. Ha ha ha, am I also a star in the academy? Rist was also unceremoniously sitting on the opposite side of Zephyr. I picked up the teapot and poured a cup of tea, and drank it all in one go, but Rist liked the slightly bitter feeling of coffee more than tea. It's useless to drink this good tea for you. Seeing Riester's swallowing behavior, Zephyr said bitterly. Advertisement. Are there any good seedlings in this elite class? Rist asked casually. The purpose of course was to divert Zephyr's attention from the tea. A good seed appeared, Logia smoke fruit, who is a thorny head, but Marine discovered that he was late and he was older than you. It is estimated that he will leave from here in no time. Are you capable of Logia smoke fruit? There was no doubt that this was Smoker, and a white hair appeared in Riester's mind, with 2 cigarettes in his mouth, a man facing fiercely. What? Are you interested? Forget it, I don't have any interest in these little ghosts now. I have been teaching students for 4 years, but I am a little tired. Lister drank another cup of tea in one sip. How is your time in New World? It's okay. New World's pirates are no big deal, just so-so. Rist said in a rather proud tone, he only showed such an expression in front of Zephyr. Hee, it seems that you have forgotten the scene where Kaido used to get on the ground. If the old man arrived in time, do you think you can still sit here and drink my good tea? Zephyr said contemptuously. Hearing this, the expression on Rist's face immediately pulled down. Zephyr really is which pot is not opened or which pot is to be lifted. I didn't see Kaido this time. If I saw him, I would have to lay him down this time. Rist said fiercely. Ha ha. Obviously, Zephyr didn't believe Riester's words very much. Although Lister's strength is now very strong, Zephyr feels that there is still a gap between him and Kaido. Master, I see you very unpleasant now, I want to discuss with you. No need, the old man is not in the mood to fight you. After taking a sip of tea slowly, Zephyr closed his eyes and showed an expression of enjoyment on his face. Cut. 2. A handful of old bones. Fortunately, you can take care of the old age at Naval Headquarters. Don't go out if you have nothing to do. Advertisement. Riester also learned Zephyr's movements, and took a sip of tea, showing an expression of enjoyment. Huh, the old man doesn't need you as a kid to tell the old man. Sure enough, everyone does not accept the old. By the way, is there something big going on at Marine recently? At this moment, List asked suddenly. Why do you ask? Aokiji said in agreement. Okay, but I hope this troublesome thing doesn't affect me. Then I will go now. Really, it's a pity that the old man has retired. He has just asked what happened, so the old man doesn't know. None of them wanted to go to this mission, and they were entangled in letting the 3 of them go. Unexpectedly, Rist happened to appear in the sight of the 4 of them. But according to Murphy's law, what is most likely to happen in the heart is most likely to happen. At this time, in Sengoku's office, Kizaru, who had been touching soy sauce, suddenly spoke. This task is not considered a very dangerous task, but rather troublesome. It is precisely that these 3 people are unwilling to deal with troublesome things. When I went to report on the mission, I found that the 3 marshals Admiral and Sengoku were all there. I think there should be something important. I think that kid is fine too. Sengoku shook his hand helplessly, and Aokiji also left. Thank you for reading this story at fictionzone.net. Your support enables us to keep the site running. After speaking, Akainu turned around and left. It seemed that this time the task was done by Riester as a certainty. Upon hearing Kizaru's words, Aokiji, Akainu and Sengoku's eyes lit up, and they all thought that Kizaru's proposal seemed good. Then I am here, it shouldn't be of any use anymore. After speaking, Kizaru also got up and left. Then it's settled, I'll leave first if there is nothing wrong. I feel that Lister seems to be a good choice for this mission.